Hello. Ah, tabarnak. What do you mean Pope isn't there? Okay, I'll find him. Have you seen Pope? Where is he? Oh, come on, pick up. Going to voicemail. Hello, Mr. Pope. Luc Duchesne speaking. You know the guy sitting right across from you in the office? The show's about to start. Hey, I don't know where the fuck is my oath. Move! The show!
Oh, hey!
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Justin and Craig, the Rainbow Six community developers. How you guys doing? Doesn't matter, I don't have time. No, I do need a coffee. Oh, hey, can I get a coffee with 5 pumps of pumpkin?
Of course.
Great. Perfect. Thanks. I'll pay you later.
Hey, there's your suit.
Yes!
Go in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special event edition of the Warriors Den, our weekly dev stream. We are here coming live from Ubisoft Montreal. That was a little glimpse at our studio, our beautiful studio. And we are about to embark on our biggest free weekend ever, I think. We'll see. We'll see when the final tallies are in. So we wanted to do a big show and welcome everybody in. So today's show is going to be a big one. So strap in because we have a lot going on. We've got a little agenda if you want to pop that up there. I'll just walk you through. So yes, we're going to start right off with a special reveal with some special guests. And then we're going to do a little focus for newcomers to the game because the free weekend's pulling in a lot of new players. So we've got some cool content for you guys. After that, then we get into the details of everything about Season 6. Season 6, by the way, is called Heroes March, and it will release on May 17th. After that, we will show you the upcoming hero reworks that are coming in Season 6, and we have a ton more in addition to that. So, like I said, strap in. We've got a nice long show for you today. Another very important thing about today's show is Twitch drops. We're doing Twitch drops again, which we did back in February. So you, watching right now, can just connect your Ubisoft account to your Twitch account, and throughout the show, you get chances to win up to 100,000 steel. So a small number of you over the course of the show, not just one person, but a bunch, will win 100,000 steel, which actually Damien approved, which I can't believe. And also, just for watching for an hour, you get 3 scavenger crates as well, guaranteed. So if you stick around for an hour, don't tab away. If you're on a different tab in your browser, it doesn't count. It's a thing that we learned last time. And also, very important, and especially if you're doing it right now, in the chat, you don't need to say anything at all in the chat. You don't need to say raffle. You don't need to say drops. Please don't do that. Don't flood the chat. We will ban you because we want to keep it cool and keep it fun and loose. And you don't need to. We're going to give you the thing just for being alive and connecting your account. So that said, I want to get started with our special segment because I think they're more interesting than me. So let's look at camera number 1. Here we are. Yeah. We are here. You know this man, Steph Cardin. I've been corrected so many times over the last few days on how to pronounce it correctly. I'm still not there. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, Eric, because it's you.
Oh, you'll allow it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're used to that.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
And Steph is joined here by a first-timer on the show, everybody in the room's boss, Yennis.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
So I thought maybe we could kick things off. Just introduce yourselves and what your role is, because like I said, there will be some new people watching that haven't seen our weekly streams before, and maybe they're not familiar with UB Montreal. So Yennis, why don't you kick it off?
All right, sure. Well, simply put, I'm the CEO of Ubisoft Canadian Studios. I oversee Ubisoft Montreal, of course, which is not a small studio, right? We do have several studios in Canada. Ubisoft Montreal, of course, Toronto, Quebec. We just opened Saguenay this year, and we just opened a few weeks ago a studio in Winnipeg. So I kind of oversee all that. I used to be a producer myself. I used to be an executive producer, and during all those years, I managed to stay Stéphane's boss.
Yeah.
Unfortunately
yeah,
for him.
because I was associate producer on Prince of Persia with him.
Yes, Sands of Time, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good times.
Would you
good
say you
times.
taught everything? You taught Steph everything he knows?
Unfortunately, I haven't taught him everything I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know?
The good thing and the bad things, right?
True. True.
And Steph, your role here, could you?
I'm
give
the
us a-
senior producer. I'm here on Foreigner since the beginning. Even I was there before we had a game, so people doesn't know about it. But Foreigner, we started with that crazy dev team, a very small core group, and we were trying to find an idea that would fit the expertise that the guys had, because we worked on fighting game before. And it's where after 2 months we met Jason and we kick off For Honor. But
And that's sort of why we wanted Yanis on. We sort of wanted to tell a little bit the story of For Honor that we haven't really gone into. So there's a documentary. Actually, you were at the premiere last night, and I actually could tell, because I've only been here 2 years, I could tell you were super involved it looked like on a personal level with the project. It looked like you were involved from a long time. So did it start with the game idea, or was it even before that?
Well, it was even before the game idea. It was even before the game was called Hero. Things people don't know is even before Hero, even before the game idea, you had by yourself, you decided to kill your own project. Do you remember that? I think that was a very...
oh yes, I remember.
No, but seriously, that was a very mature move, and that was a very strategic move also, because you knew at the time that the team would not contribute to the strategic vision of Ubisoft and of the studio, and then you decided to, revamp things, look at the true ways of how this team, this talented team, could contribute to what was missing for the studio. And you looked at online, you looked at community oriented, you looked at in the portfolio, you look at the genre that was missing, and you also looked at a new way of designing the production in a way, and that was very interesting, because we were used to make games in a way that was successful for the teams and the studio, but we were missing something. And Hero at the time was that project that helped the studio start to shift towards online-oriented games, and now here you are, all of the players, and we want to keep taking care of.
So that's really interesting. So for you, Steph, it really, even before the game idea coagulated into a solid thing, it was you wanted to do kind of a games as a service approach. You wanted to do community approach, and was it always also a fighting game that you wanted, or is that what came in the next step?
First, I had the conviction that internet was not going to disappear.
What a prediction.
I think it was an easy one, and it will have a huge impact in the way players will play the game in the future at that time. And the second one is, I have another big conviction. It's if you want to compete with the best in the world, it's really difficult when you do a genre for the first time. So I was looking at the team, our expertise. I knew we were able to create an immersive world. I knew but the core experience, this team didn't ship shooters or other type of games. So I knew that we had something unique even in our at Ubisoft, and I said, I want to build on that, because we work on the Naruto title. So we did some fighting game. We did it also on some online, even if it was not as deep as what we have with Foreigner, but we touched that subject, and I was like, we developed so many tools during those 3 years and a half, 4 years. So I was like, I want to build over it, and that was the two conditions in which I was screening all the interviews I was doing with Creative to try to find a subject for that team to create a new IP.
Well, not only that, and also, again, back to how we make games. You know, I remember the tournaments, making sure that within the team, I think it was every Friday, you started to embark the team and looking at the team as the very first community. Even the game was ready to be tried out live. That was something where we knew, and I was indeed kind of involved at the time because it was a strategic project. It was a project we knew we would learn a lot, and other projects like Rainbow Six after that started to embark in this new type of making games. So yeah, that was something.
Yeah, and it's easy to talk about community, but the reality is we never did that with the scale we were looking for on a game like For Honor. So we decided right at the beginning to say that the team is the first community of the game. So let's treat every dev as part of the community. Right. That at some point in the process, we'll deliver that to our colleague, to our management, to our at E3, through consumer events, to make sure that we're growing the community, but starting from the dev. And I think if you look the passion of all the dev you've seen on the project, you can see the impact it has in the entire production cycle.
Very cool, very cool. I knew this would be an interesting segment. These guys would talk a lot, but I have to keep them moving so Yannis can get to a very important lunch meeting. So sorry I had to steamroll you guys a little bit. But I wanted people to be aware. They might be aware of Ubisoft, obviously, but maybe not specifically of Ubisoft Montreal. This is the studio where Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six for sure, Far Cry, Watch Dogs, you know. These are kind of the marquee brands of Ubisoft. I know that we're very proud of that here. I'm not bragging, but sort of bragging about Ubi Montreal. But I wonder, to you, where does For Honor fit in that pantheon of amazing games?
Well, For Honor is a very important brand, again, because it fits in the portfolio where we were missing something in the fighting genre. And I think that it is a brand that is as important as all the big games and big brands you mentioned. It's certainly not a side project, and it is something that we are investing into, and we've kept investing from day one. And I don't think it's going to stop.
Which is a beautiful segue for me to ask Steph about that investment. I thought you could maybe give, again, because we have some new viewers, just a glimpse of what we've done over the past year in terms of post-launch support, in terms of it truly being a game as a service.
We did a lot, and we learned a lot doing it. First, we ship, I don't know if people just realize that, but we shipped over 5,000 assets and features during that year. So amazing work, learning to ship, not every 3 years. No, every week we deliver content, and it's a complete change of philosophy. We also started to create events. For me, the Halloween events, the first one we did, I remember it as a turning point of the project. You know, it surprised people. We had a lot of fun doing it as dev, and the players had a very positive reaction to it. And after that, of course, we cannot forget about the dedicated servers.
Of course. Yes. So, and the dedicated servers, just to swipe in here, Yannis, that clearly must have been a big, hard decision for you on the management side.
Not really.
Dramatic pause.
No, I mean, when you think about it, you have this awesome game, you have this awesome community, you have this awesome commitment that is the result of the two, and we all together realize that something is missing, you know. So to the very question, was it a hard decision to go ahead and say, of course, no, we have to go with a dedicated server? No. That being said, it's not because it's not an easy decision on the management side that it's an easy trick to do. So and between the time we said yes, which was actually very early,
very early,
we knew from the response from the team and the engineers that, okay, you're right, this is exactly what we need to do, but God, it's gonna take time and effort and investment.
Right.
But back to the question. No, it was not an easy. It was a very easy, decision.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and I can tell from working with Steph and the team that everyone just felt it was the duty to our players to get them there to where we all wanted the game to be.
Yeah, of course. Again, you have this awesome community, and it's more than a duty. It's an obligation. We would for sure wouldn't want to let them down.
And you look the impact that we have. Say the impact is even better than what we expected when we started working on the servers, and we're super happy, and the community is reacting very well to it, and now we'll extend it to other modes very soon. So it's super. It's a new phase for the project.
In fact, I remember what was hard though is that before we would be able to get a firm answer from the team and the engineers on when is this thing gonna happen. We knew we have taken the decision, and we wanted to say, but without being sure of how, when, etc. That was the hard part.
Yeah.
That was hard for me as well. To be like, yes, guys, it's coming. Trust us. We'll get there. And we did, finally. And like you said, we have Mr. Data himself. Damien will be on later to tell us with some specific data how we're doing on the servers. So.
Yeah, but it was needed. At the end, it was a good decision. It was a long process. We knew it. The team's rock it. Doing it in 7 months was an amazing achievement. So super proud.
So I know that you, Steph, have very long-term plans for the game, and I wonder how bought in are you in the studio with Steph's crazy brain?
Well, I think now with everything that Steph talked about, everything that has been done in the past year, all the investment that we made, I think we now have more than solid foundations. We have a platform that is very healthy, and now we are ready to go full steam ahead. And I know for sure that the future of For Honor is shiny, is brilliant, and actually I also know that we're gonna tell more at E3. What's coming for Honor is big enough that we will tell you at E3.
Oh, E3, that's just a month away. That's exciting.
Oh, we are aware of that.
If Luke was here, he would be showing us his countdown clock right now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's crazy. And the other things for me, and I'm hearing you, we're reading you guys all over the place. I know you want to hear about new heroes. It's something that we focus on the balancing, and we focus on stabilizing the foundation. And I can tell you that we'll reveal new heroes very, very soon. And from what I saw and play, honestly, I think there's going to be the best one we've ever so far. So I'm super excited.
Okay.
But can't wait. I would like to talk more about it, but Luke will kill me.
No, Luke will fly in from Toronto and drop kick us all. Would you say they're coming this year, the new heroes?
Yeah,
yes.
They're coming for sure this year, and Luke will decide when we can talk more about it.
So set your panic aside. New heroes are coming. But I think even more importantly, we'll see you at E3 with a ton of exciting information, and that is literally a month away. So I hope you're excited. Thank you, both of you, so much for spending your time with us. I hope the fans watching at home appreciated it. Maybe we'll have you back on the show again sometime, Yannis.
Sure, all right.
Thanks, guys, for doing it. So what we're going to do now is jump to our free weekend trailer, and then we'll be back after that to talk to some of our new players. Thanks.
Yeah!
For Honor now has dedicated servers for a smoother experience and new training features to make it easier to master the art of battle. Everyone plays free May 3rd through 6th. The Warrior Training Program means you can play with friends to earn champion status, worth 8,000 steel. Learn more at forhonorgame.com/freeweekend.
Hey, hey, let's bring it over to camera 2. Let's keep it intimate. Hey, hello. How are you? I don't want to show them that I'm all alone on stage. It's sad for everybody. So yes, I'm happy to hear that people are excited that we'll be at E3. I'm excited we'll be at E3. It's one of the biggest moments in gaming every year, and I know that everyone on the team's psyched to be back in the mix. So what I mentioned at the top of the show is we do have a number of new people coming to the game this weekend because of the free weekend, and coming to the stream today because we've seen that we've gotten some broad promotion for the stream, which always brings in new players and new viewers. So we thought we'd focus just for a little bit on those new people. So if you're a veteran, hang out a little bit. Don't worry, you can still get your Twitch drops. If you're already such a pro, you don't need to hear stuff. But new people, I want you to keep in mind that if you're a viewer, you've not ever played For Honor, you can get it right now for free for the weekend to try it out. It's all weekend long. It's every platform. And as Steph mentioned, we are now on dedicated servers, both on PvP modes and now just this week on PvAI modes. There has really, and the addition of our new training arena mode, it's honestly never been a better time for new players to come, check it out, get their feet wet in For Honor, and a really good onboarding with that arena mode. So to that point, we're doing something with this free weekend that we did back in November before, and that is called the Warrior Training Program. And the Warrior Training Program is a thing where we enlist you, our veteran players, to play with newcomers. If you group up with newcomers and play matches, you only have to do 5 matches with them, but I encourage you to do more. Over the course of this free weekend, basically show them the ropes, help them get into the game and understand how to play. You and that new person will be rewarded with our brand new champion status. So we've always had champion status, but we've revamped it in Season 6. It's giving out a lot more XP in addition to other new things. So it's worth around 8,000 steel in in-game currency. So it's just for playing the game and being a helpful player. So hopefully you can come to For Honor this weekend and help out some new players. And if you're a new player, I highly suggest you go to our Reddit. It's reddit.com/r/For Honor to group up with others. And really, we find it's the best way for people to get into the game. When they group up, they have a better time, and then they end up sticking around. So head to our Reddit. If you're more of a Discord user, we have our Reddit actually has a Discord server, and that's where our Looking for Group channel is, so you can find other players on your platform. Okay, all of that said, if Alex in the back could help me out here, that would be great. Thank you. So, sorry, that was awkward. So I also wanted to mention something else. So throughout today's show, you know, if you've watched the show before, we always have these kind of flashy transitions that our man Max makes. And this time, he didn't have as much time to make flashy transitions. So we're going to spice things up a little bit. We know that you, the players, are always excited about new executions coming to the game. In fact, next week on the 10th, so keep in mind, that's 1 week before Season 6 starts. Next week on the 10th, we're releasing our next batch of executions. So we thought throughout the show today, we'll use clips of those executions as transitions. So I'm going to do that right now for the first time. So we're going to be right back, actually, with some of our community players and Guillaume, our game mode designer, to show you some gameplay in Dominion and Duel. So let's check out the executions right now. Yeah, executions. Always screwing with me. Yeah, executions. There's a lot more to come. Stay tuned. And actually, we're ending today's show with a good deep dive segment with our executioners, the execution animation team and mocap actor, actually, from that group. So stay tuned for that. That's pretty hype. But for right now, we're going to show some gameplay. So to do that, we brought in a couple of our favorites. This man to my left is known only as Bodrat.
Hello, Twitch.
You might know him from competitive tournament stuff. And over on my right here is Oscar, also known as One, but I refuse to say that more than one time on a show. Welcome, Oscar. Welcome from the UK.
Thank you,
Are
thank
you
you.
still jet lagged?
A little bit, but I'm feeling good now.
Great.
Feeling good.
You're not because you live here.
Yes.
No excuses.
In the studio, right? That's
Yeah,
what
he lives in the studio. It's a problem. Joining us is Guillaume Couture, who is a famous Quebec historical figure if you ever Google it. But he's also a game designer and a former shoutcaster.
Yeah, former.
A one-time
A
shoutcaster.
one-time, yeah.
With our friend Vivid Naz on our last stream that we did, our last seasonal stream. So what we thought we'd do today, and the reason I brought Guillaume, is Guillaume and I will kind of give you a high-level look into, I don't know why I said I. I'm not going to do that. Guillaume's gonna sort of give you the design side of how to play Dominion, how to play Duel. I know, like I said, pretty basic for people who have already played the game, but we have some newcomers. But to kind of spice things up, we brought these guys, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do a director's commentary style thing. We play a Dominion match. We sort of hear how you think in the moment, how you strategize, the tactics that you're employing in the moment-to-moment action of a match. So we're going to do that in both Dominion and Duel. So I think we can jump into a match right now, and it looks like it's starting to load. So while we do that, Guillaume, do you want to give some basis for Dominion?
Oh yeah, so basic for Dominions. If you've never played Dominion, there's 3 points that you have to capture and hold. One of them is a lane with minions inside of it. And basically, capturing a point gives you, capturing a zone gives you points, and holding it gives you more points. And that's basically all there is that you have to understand to be able to play the mode. And we're just going to see how deep the strategies can actually go into that mode when you're playing with high-level players.
Yeah, and in fact, I think, Bodrat, you guys worked on a kind of a specific distribution for your team composition. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. and is there kind of, you have to be aware of the overall roster of heroes to know what works best in Dominion?
Yeah, so like there's like a current meta that we usually do. So after the reworks you guys created, the meta started to dissolve into like a lot more characters that you can choose from. So right now there's a lot of characters that are viable in Forest competitive scene. So as the reworks are coming, more and more characters are starting to see in 44 competitive.
Cool. So you're going to go in as what? The Valk?
Valkyrie, yep.
Wow. And Oscar?
They're playing Berserker.
Berserker.
Yeah.
You're not known for the Berserker. I wonder why you're playing as him.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Well, let's leave that as a little hint. Okay, so here we go. And so right off the bat, Bodrat, you see what map you're in, so you already have a strategy in mind?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I'm going to stick around with my team just to try to see if we can try to steamroll the team to see if it's beneficial or not.
Okay.
And from there, we'll see what the other team's doing. So in the beginning, I go with my team in the mid, just to start to clear the minions so we have control of the minion point while we're taking the fight. So as you see here, this guy's alone. We're trying to kill him as fast as we can, but we have lost both C and A points.
Sorry, I had to adjust your mic as you talked.
Yeah, no worries. So we killed the Kensie there, but we lost both C and A. So
aha! So this, you are deathballing, as we hear about sometimes on Reddit.
yeah, so it's not always beneficial if the other team knows what they're doing. So here, the Shigoki killed me with the only charge.
Amazing. Okay, so the death ball, rolling as a group from point to point. Maybe not the best way to win in Dominion, is what
Yeah,
you're
exactly. So as you see here, we're all trying to death ball the Shigoki at the C point, but look at the point difference right now.
saying. Right. So even
So-
if you're going to kill the Shigoki, you're
Exactly.
getting your asses kicked.
So this game mode's all about the objective, so getting kills doesn't matter that much.
Cool.
Because if we're losing, so we're losing a lot on points right now.
And as I was mentioning earlier, because you get more points per second when you're actually staying in a point after you captured it, just moving around and capturing points and just resetting them all the time is not going to give you that much score. And especially if you have a Shigoki like this who knows what he's doing and he's able to hold 4 players for even for 30 seconds, it's long enough for them to take the advantage, as we can see in the points right now.
Yep, so here my team just split up now because we found that it wasn't working at all.
Yeah, we see that Oscar's going up to
Yep,
take a
and I'm
point.
1v2ing 2 people here. I just killed a Raider here. And I'm going to try taking mid back, but I don't have that much health, so I'm going to try my best here.
And just one last thing on the death ball, because we showed that on purpose. That was for effect. You wouldn't have actually used that strategy. But if you, as a player going into the game, run into that, you should do what the other team was doing, which is split up, go for capture points, and just kind of make the death ball, if they want to call it that, split up, right?
Yep, exactly. Like a lot of people have trouble because they get overwhelmed by people just trickling in one by one to the death ball. So it's always effective to split the other team's focus by going to different points, even their home point, and clearing mid. That way the team is forced to split up and they can't death ball.
Cool. Okay, so what's going on right now? We
So
have
right now I just took
all 3 points.
We just took all 3 points. As you see, we're all split up. We're not death balling here. So we're all split up, and the other team is pretty much all dead here.
Nice.
So we're trying to hold all the points here. I'm going to A just in case someone comes here. So as you see, I'm always looking at the radar. As you can see, someone just took C.
So you're keeping your situational awareness of everything that's going on in the map.
I'm always looking at the radar to see what everything's going on. So as you can see, at mid, there's 2 people, and there's no one in A. So I'm going to go help my team in that team fight. So one of my team members just died, so I have to make a decision here if I'm going to go and help them or not. So there's 3 here. I don't want to die here, so I'm going to roll away and try to run back to the A point, because I'll most likely die to those people.
So it's not really to the benefit of your overall success. So maybe your teammate gets a little mad that you leave him behind, but he shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Exactly. So you don't want to trickle in when there's more than one person there, because you're going to feed them renown, and from there it might snowball.
Right.
That's a good thing to mention. It's easy to forget in For Honor, because like you respawn and you just want to fight stuff, right? You just want to kill people and you just want to run around and fight. And it can be hard to just respawn and kind of look at the state of the match itself and then taking a decision based on this. So you could see, sure, he could have fought those guys in the lane, but he went back to the point, because staying alive ultimately is more productive than, you know, trying to kill someone, maybe get them to 50% HP and then just dying.
Right.
Yep, as you can see, while I was in mid, there was a team fight going on. But instead of helping my team, I decided to clear minions because points are more important.
Right.
So I didn't help my team member at all. I just started killing the minions right away.
Oh, Oscar just gets killed, but you got his back.
I got him.
I bet you'll get a revive here.
There you
Finish
go.
this man off. Nice. And Oscar, you're known, I guess, more as a duelist. You like duels, right?
Yeah,
So what's the difference for you in playing a Dominion match versus a duel?
and George, you can like focus primarily on one person. You don't have to worry about other things happening, like someone coming from behind you. So you can sort of play better in a sense because you don't have to worry about other things. So I guess my weakness in fours is I sort of get caught out sometimes by things I'm not expecting, things I don't see.
It's the dreaded tunnel vision, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah.
And Bodrad, do you have kind of, because one of the big differences obviously is group fight, and do you have kind of tactics you employ when you're doing a 2v1 or a 3v1?
Yeah, so it depends on like your comp too, because you always need someone that can gank effectively. So usually when I'm in a team fight, if I'm playing Shaman, I'm usually in the perimeter just watching other team members and trying to punish mistakes.
Yep.
So it's highly dependent on the character you're playing. So in situations, if I'm playing Valkyrie right now, my main focus in team fight is just using my dash attacks to poke the other team members pretty much.
Cool. And we've got them in breaking there.
Yep, so we're both 1 health here. He's going to A to heal. I'm going to try to stop him if I can. He's going to try getting that res.
Both at about equal health or so.
Oh, we both missed a guard break.
And the,
And I died.
into
He
the
got me
spikes.
And just to talk about the breaking for a moment there, ultimately it might seem somewhat hopeless in the game when your team isn't breaking and you're just all dying, but there's actually a lot of ways to come back from this. So the main one being regroup as a team and make sure you're not alone. Make sure you revive as soon as you can, and just defend until you have opportunities to revive. I think you'll agree, Bodrad, that just being in breaking is not a death sentence.
Exactly. Like this is where when you're breaking, you always want to split their focus, like I said in the beginning, because if they know you're coming to 1 point to recapture it, they're gonna try being there to prevent it. So you're gonna group up, like you just said, and try to take 1 point. So it's always effective for you to come back from a breaking stage.
Yep.
Very cool. And then you guys ended up winning, even though you were stuck on the spikes there.
Yep.
Oscar, I think
Yep.
led the team in your stead.
Yep. Awesome.
So cool. Now we wanted to show everyone a duel match, which is also kind of the other main mode of For Honor that people play. So if we can jump into a duel, I don't know how we'll do that here. So duel, Guillaume.
Yes.
It's a horse of a different color.
Sure. Like in terms of game modes, obviously there's not that many rules that you need to know. Just kill the other one before it kills you. But in terms of how you're gonna actually approach these fights, it's very different because mind games become a lot more important in those types of fights. For example, in a duel, there's a lot of rounds, so there is a learning that you gain from your opponent as you play him, so you kind of know what he tends to do, the type of mix-up that he favors, and once you know that, you can adapt your own strategy and just counter that. And this is what's interesting with duels and why some people like them more than team-based modes, is because the thinking behind it is a lot more dense and focused exclusively on the fight. Yep. So if you like learning your characters by heart and just like knowing for sure that you dominated that enemy, you're gonna like duels more.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting thing about the game where you can gravitate to the mode that you prefer. You don't have to be good at duels to enjoy For Honor. I'm terrible at duels, but I love the objective-based modes because like exactly the thing where the quote-unquote death ball that people are afraid of is you can just do the thing Bodrat was showing. Yep. You go to the back point and capture it, and suddenly your team is winning.
Yeah, and if you're not that good at fighting and you're still learning the game, just actually running to the points that are free and capturing them is super useful for your team, even though you don't get that many kills. So just countering dead balls is all about knowing what's important in the game mode itself.
Cool. Well, we're going to jump in to a duel with these two on one of our new maps that came just this season when we released the arena mode. It's an arena map. So we released 3 maps that allow you to duel or brawl in these small, enclosed, kind of circular maps. No, what's the word? There's no spikes. There's no ledges.
No hazards.
Hazards. That's exactly the word. Thank you. So yes. So they're gonna. So you've switched over to Shaman now. Okay.
Yep.
Any reason for that?
Just the characters.
Okay. Very cool. We'll have Stefan, the mastermind behind the Shaman, on a little bit later on the show. Okay, so Oscar. So you're starting out. You know you're up against the Shaman. Do you already have kind of a strategy in mind?
Yeah. So depending on the character you're going against, obviously everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. Bodrat's gonna. We said because I'm gonna be talking at the start. Is gonna go a bit easy on me at the start because it's quite hard to.
Yeah, it's hard to talk and duel at the same time.
At the same time. Yeah. So. Difference between these two characters, Berserker is obviously the up close and personal character. You want to get in their face so you can get to let go of your combos and stuff. Whereas Shaman, although she has got good pressure, she wants to control that space because she's got really good dash attacks. So she controls the space a lot better. So when we're actually properly fighting, I don't want to let him create any space. I want to try and keep in his face.
Cool.
And it's a good thing to mention. As soon as you see what hero you're facing, it becomes really important, especially in duels, to know a bit about all heroes, just because you have to know their mix-up. You have to know what they're going to throw against you. So let's say, for example, you're facing Aramusha. You know that if he's doing his infinite chain, he's going to go top at some point. So you have to block that one or parry it. And there's a lot more character knowledge involved in duels compared to Dominion, where you can kind of it's super useful in Dominion too, but you can
get by without it.
Yeah, you can have a good performance even though you don't have that.
So Oscar, for someone new or new-ish to the game, what's sort of the first thing you recommend they spend their study time on? Is it understanding the other characters? Is it understanding your favorite characters like Max Punishes?
Yeah, so I'd say best bet is to sort of look through the cast and decide on who you like the look of the best and the feel of.
Yep.
I wouldn't worry about sort of character strength levels and stuff, and I know there's some tier lists out there, but I wouldn't worry too much about that when you're just starting off, because you won't really be able to take full advantage of why they're that strong. Because of the way the game is on a fundamental basis, there's a lot to learn. The defensive and offensive things you can do. So I'd highly recommend sort of learning just how to block. I'm showing a really bad example of it right now because I'm getting hit by like everything. But yeah, just to block and attack. So I wouldn't worry too much about parrying. Maybe parry the slower attacks and stuff, but just get the blocking down. Because once you've got that, that's the perfect basis to then work off of everything else in the game.
Okay.
And it's like blocking is super important, and it's the first one you want to learn because it's common to all characters basically.
Right.
So if you have that down, then you can pick up a character, have a good performance, and I totally agree with what Oscar said. Just pick the character you think looks the coolest. Anyways, you're gonna have to learn the moves, and the tier list doesn't come into play until you're like at a pretty high level, honestly. So just don't worry about it. Pick the one that looks cool, learn his mix-ups, learn his chains, and you're gonna do good.
And even to take it down even more to a basic notch, what do you mean when you say chains and mix-ups?
Okay, so basically chains and mix-ups. Chains are the combinations of attacks that you can do. So let's say Berserker has one which is you alternate light attacks and heavy attacks. And if you don't do those chains for your character just throws out an attack and kind of resets, and you have to throw out another attack. So chain help you they give you momentum when you're fighting, and this is what's going to give you an edge when you're fighting. And mix-ups is when you use feints or some moves that some characters have, so that you let's say you feint a heavy and you throw a light, or you feint a heavy, you throw a guard break, and there's a lot of more complicated mix-ups, but these are like the basics one, and these help you in duels, as we were saying, talking about mind games and stuff. They help you basically beat your opponent. If you know that he always throws a light attack on the right after he feint a heavy on the left, then you can kind of use this. But good opponents are not going to be as predictable, but most people are, because there's muscle memory involved. So I know I'm the worst at that. I always throw my feint the same way. And yeah, but it's something you need to practice to be good with.
Oscar, can you say why you prefer duels to Dominion? Do you know what it is about it that you like better?
I think coming into this game, I come from like a MOBA background, and I really like the concept of just a 1v1. And fighting games in general hadn't appealed to me before sort of hearing about For Honor. So I just really like the idea of being able to sort of focus on yourself. And if you lose a fight, depending, like there's character levels and stuff, but you know you screwed up. It wasn't someone else's fault. You can't blame people, and you got to sort of work on it yourself.
Cool.
Can't blame your team.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
And Badra, how about for you? Would you say you prefer the group to duels?
So I always like Dominion more.
Yeah.
Any 4v4 game mode interests me more because there's a lot more going on. It's not tunnel visioned. So I just like the objective side of For Honor more compared to ones.
Gotcha.
You really like doing call-outs too. If
Yep.
we look at the tournaments and stuff.
Yep, I really like talking and just calling the shots pretty much.
Let's see who closes out this duel here. For this 2-2 duel, where you're both. My money's on. Oh, yep.
Oh, Zerker.
Yeah, Zerker did it.
It was very close.
Very cool. Well,
Close
thank
game.
you, gentlemen. I hope people found some interesting tidbits in there. And I know, Oscar, you stream a lot, so I don't know if you
Yep.
want to give a shout out to your channel so people can see more such action.
It's a bit of a difficult one to.
Oh, it's because of the spelling.
the spelling.
Well, keep the spelling up there. It's that
always the
many
same.
H's, that many M's.
It's always the same, yeah. One.
If you had a marketing rep, he would say that's like not a good name
I've
to
been
you.
told many times, yeah. I've been trying to get rid of it, I don't know, it's just sort of stuck.
For Honor, Oscar. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
And Badra, how about yourself?
I don't have a stream, but
No?
you can find me on Discord.
Wow.
You're looking to stream soon, though, aren't you?
Sorry?
You're thinking about streaming
Yeah,
soon,
yeah.
though, yeah.
In
It's
the
the
future,
thing to do, man. You should do it.
That would be
Thing to
good
do.
timing to start.
You know, there's this
Probably.
guy, Clutchmeister, who's sort of he's taken over the market on streaming. I think he needs some
Oh, you're
competition.
talking about that guy at Be a Hero series?
Yeah,
That guy, yeah.
perfect response. All right, so thank you, gentlemen. These guys will actually be back in a little bit to show you those reworks with Stefan and Ramon. But Guillaume, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Keep designing those good modes.
I'll try.
And I know you got some surprises in season 6 that we
Oh,
can't
man.
talk about.
I can't wait until people hear about it.
But it's good stuff. Okay, so we're going to roll another execution video, and we'll be back with everyone's favorite human spreadsheet, Damien Keegan, along with a couple of our Team Onion folks. So stay tuned. yesterday, so we spent all this money on getting things called tally lights, so we know which cameras we're using, and now we're not using them.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. Welcome back, everybody. Damien, how are you doing?
I'm good.
How do you react to someone calling you a human spreadsheet? Is that upsetting for you? Or is it okay?
It's okay.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I said
It's
it. I wouldn't
okay.
want to
You
hurt your
accept.
feelings.
Everything is okay today anyway.
Whoa.
We reveal we're going to E3.
That's
and
true.
all, so
Will you be there?
I will be there.
You know it's open to the public now,
Yeah, I know.
so people could come and meet the man, the myth.
The data.
Roman.
Well, Roman, exactly. And then Damien will be behind him. Yeah, so Damien, welcome. Everyone knows, well, maybe if they're new, they don't know you. Give a quick intro for who you are, what you do in the game.
So I'm the data man.
Data man.
I'm the game director on For Honor.
Very cool. And we're joined here by JF. He has got a real name, Jean-Francois.
Yes.
Jeff
is easier though.
JF is much easier, especially for dummies like me. And you're representing here
Yep.
For Onion.
for Onion. So Team Onion,
Yes.
if people don't know, give us a little backstory.
Team Onion is the team that worked on the implementation of the dedicated servers. So it included a lot of people on the team, so online folks, engine, gameplay, and overall a lot of different peoples. So I was in charge of plannings and make sure like the risk assessments and stuff. So
So you're the one sort of. So you also spend some time in spreadsheets, I guess.
I do spend a lot of time.
He's way more data man than
Yeah.
me, in fact.
Now,
I'm less good in PowerPoint. though.
should we say the ultimate data man right here?
Maybe
Laurent,
if you want, yeah.
do you spend a lot of time in data?
I do.
You do,
I
so
love, I love data.
give
We
us a little
speak
info
data to
here.
each
Yeah,
other.
so that's why
That's our
I go
common
by
language.
his deck and say, what's the data of today?
Is that what the game
That's
director
our
does?
relationship.
He takes someone else's data and presents it as like, here's the good data.
Yeah, game director does nothing.
Laurent,
Just
what do you-
presenting somebody else's work.
What do you do on the team? You're part of Team Onion.
Yes, that's right. I'm the project lead for the online team of For Honor. So I've been leading the initiatives to the dedicated servers and other improvements on the tech side. I'm helping to see where the game goes for the long term.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is not simply the dedicated servers. That is just
Nope, that is
happened
not
to be a
just
big
it.
chunk of your life for the last year.
Yeah.
Cool. So as he likes to do, Damon has prepared a PowerPoint for today,
I have.
which
I
I
have a
love because it
remote.
means I can just lay back and do nothing for a couple minutes.
So we thought that it would be a good occasion during that stream to go back on the dedicated servers and show what we did and what is the impact data-wise. Because players are asking us, so here it is.
Hey, and did you
So-
wear the same outfit that you were wearing in the intro video on purpose?
Yeah,
Nice.
and you did it. And
I didn't.
And I'm like, oh, how did you change your dress so
Yeah.
fast?
We had multiple things in that intro video that we cut that explained a lot of things, and Luke handed me a Costco bag, and that had my suit in it. That was the idea, but that didn't make it. We didn't make it into the final. So there's
So
your
that's
backstory.
why you're wearing something different.
Yeah. So I should have told you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But
I hope
see,
you like
I'm,
that
I'm
shirt.
dedicated.
It looks very comfortable.
It is.
Okay.
It is a bit too warm for today, but
It's
it is.
pretty warm in here.
Anyway,
All right.
let's move on.
PowerPoint time.
So, dedicated server results. So just to go back, we decided to move many months ago now to dedicated server. So to move from our deterministic simulation plus full mesh peer-to-peer network model to dedicated servers. But what is a full mesh peer-to-peer network model, Laurent? If you can explain.
Yes. Well, in a nutshell, what it meant is that every player was maintaining a constant communication with every other player at the same time and sharing data between each other so that the game advances. So that meant that for 8 players, we had dozens of connections between players just to exchange everything to maintain the game rolling.
And now with servers?
Well, we're all going to a single point, so every player is connected to the dedicated server that makes sure that the data flows to every player, but it's a single point instead.
Amazing.
It's
I
simple.
knew that.
Yeah, but
No, I didn't.
I
didn't. know
I have to ask. So when was out? It was out mid-February on PC, 2 weeks after on consoles, so that we could see if everything was going wrong, do a small patch, etc. before releasing on console. It took us, as you said, 7-8 months, so pretty long time, huge work. And now let's go to the results. So first, only looking at the match stability improvements and then other benefits of being on dedicated servers. So I think the biggest benefit, Laurent, that you can explain.
Yeah, for sure. It was first and foremost to help improve the stability of the matches, and we have reduced the number of errors related to connectivity in the matches by 75%, which is insane.
Which is more than what we expected, at least on the first month.
Yes.
And on top of that, we have also two connections on the resyncs. So those are the pauses that were happening during our game to allow the simulation to gather all the info and start again.
Yeah, as soon as one player was having difficulties in the matches, it was causing the game to pause for a moment until we could resynchronize everything and continue. And now with the dedicated servers, we're happy to say that this is completely removed. This is a behavior that is not happening anymore. There is no resync in the game now.
So please tell your friends who tried the game back when we launched and was like, man, I like this game, but I keep just this thing happens and see people leave the match and it's a so tell your friends now is the time to come back if that frustrated them a year ago.
And this is also true for the session hosts migrations.
Yes, because since we had a full mesh without a server, we needed to have one of the players act as a host, so he controls the information to begin and continue in the game. Now we don't need him anymore. But what happened before is that when that player had a problem, we needed to migrate the session to another player from the full mesh peer-to-peer.
So we had to pause the game.
So we again had to pause the game, transfer some data, and resume the game. It's not the case anymore.
And this is also gone thanks to the dedicated servers. And on top of that, I think you can explain the weakest link impact.
Yeah, what we call the weakest link was the most important contributing factor to problems in stability of the games was sometimes there would be one player that had different connectivity stability, and he would be dragging the game along with resyncs and causing migrations, and it caused cascading effects. So it would cause multiple problems from that player onto other players. Now, even if a player is having a different connection, like for example a Wi-Fi that is having difficulties, it will not impact the other players. It will be contained in that player only. The server will protect the others.
That's really cool. And then other cool, awesome side effects, positive side effects we have with dedicated servers. Maybe the NAT is something we can explain.
Yes, previously when each player needed to connect to each other, it would work best when they had a what we call the green NAT, which is an open connection that allows other players to connect to you. And players had difficulties making matches when they were having either a orange or a red NAT, which was strict. With the servers now, it's not a requirement anymore, so we can connect any player, regardless of your connection type. We can connect you together and play a match. So there's no requirements on that anymore for the gameplay side.
That's really cool. Also, IP not visible, which was something that was requested from the committee, that some player could be DDoS
some players could
based on their IP.
Yeah, they could easily detect the IP of other players and then send flooding attacks to try to drag the game along. Now it's not the case because you cannot see the IPs of the other players on the match.
And now that we have different locations of server, allows us also to matchmake players based on those locations.
Yeah, we've produced a beautiful map earlier that shows all of the data center locations that we have worldwide. And thanks to this now, we're able to have a much more efficient grouping of players when they present themselves in matchmaking.
And lastly, and we can go quickly on that one, because we use servers, we can have a way more reliable connectivity throughout different matches.
Yeah, what we're seeing is that the connection between a player and the server is generally much more stable and constant than between players. So that also helps a lot.
And so one of the biggest questions we had, Eric, that is looking at his phone.
No, I'm not.
Is it's cool to add servers because of all of that, but what about latency?
What about latency?
We are adding an extra step. So now
Surely
we have to
by
go
moving
through
to
the
servers,
servers.
it's going to be so slow now, right?
Exactly. And I think that's something maybe JF can speak about.
Yes, of course. So latency. Of course, as Damien said, we added a new layer, so you need to connect to a server before connecting to another player. So by default, you will have latency.
Yeah.
Something that's important to know, and that's something we learned really well when we looked at it, is when two players connect to each other, and there's a cool graph here. They use a link, which is represented by a road here, which is not insanely optimized. You know, like providers optimize their link, that's true, but between two residential human beings, it's not the best optimized way. When you connect to servers, Those routes are a lot more optimized because there's a lot more load. There's not only for honors and those kind of providers, they provide a lot of big things in the world. So those routes are a lot more optimized. So in the end, you have 2 routes instead of 1. But in terms of latency, it's not that big of a difference. Is there an increase? There is a slight increase. But as you can see here on PS4 and Xbox One, we average a plus 4 millisecond latency for a total of 77s. Which is totally in our acceptable format for our game with our simulations. And on PC, it's 7 milliseconds for a total of 62. That's player to player. So it's not even player to servers, but it's your connection with the other player you're playing with. So there is a little increase, but it's not noticeable in gameplay. And what we introduced with patch we did a couple of weeks ago, you can go in the scoreboard now for all modes on servers, so PVI and PvP now, and see your latency you have with the server. So if you want to know your latency you have with the players, you had your latency and his, so you have the global one, and you can see that in scoreboard now as well.
That's really cool.
Which was very cool.
Yeah, it's something player requested as well, so we added that a couple of weeks ago.
And so it's not over, of course.
Nope.
We still have next step on those. As you just said, we released this week servers on PVAI matches.
Yesterday morning.
So super happy about that. So now every match you do in For Honor when you use the matchmaking will be on servers. It's PvP or PVAI that will be on server.
Yes.
If you play custom matches, if you play PVAI without matchmaking, so only with your friends or alone, here you will be on your own session with your friends in peer-to-peer.
But what about custom matches, Demi?
What about custom matches?
Are they part of the next steps?
Custom matches, in fact, it's one of the next steps.
All right.
It is one of the next step. I know community wants it. People run events, people run specific matches on those. So of course, it's part of our next steps. So right now we're working with the team to bring that element of the game on servers as well.
But no specific ETA on that at this time.
Not yet.
And we're still continuing to do.
Yes,
to
that's an
hunt
ongoing
bugs.
topic now.
Yeah.
Every weekly update or every 2 or 3 weeks when there's an update, we push in some fixes and optimizations to make sure servers run better. There is some crashes and stuff that we remove. So the goal is to get the best experience possible.
Yeah. So if you have any error, if you find any error, send those to us. We look at those and we tries to improve that. And one of the last step that will happen, I think, later on.
Yes, that's another big point from the community is NAT has been removed from gameplay elements, as Laurent said earlier, but not from the groups. That's something that creates issues. So we're working on it. We want to push a fix for that as soon as we can, but it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, this is also a pretty big work.
Yeah, but it's something we definitely want to push in. I think it's going to be a really good improvement for the players. So that's something the team is working on right now.
And there's stuff that comes with that, right? Like once you can do that, you can do other things.
There is another topic that is kind of linked to that, which is something that server change in terms of behaviors, which is the voice chat. So the voice chat when you're in a group works well, but the voice chat in Teams doesn't work like it worked before. So it's something we're investigating as well. There's some cross-tech in those two topics, which is why I think you said that they might come to each other. It's two different topics, but linked to the same limitations. But yeah, we're working on that as well to bring back voice chat as it was before.
Very cool.
And this is it.
And this is it.
This is it.
Well, thank you guys. Servers are awesome. I think everyone would agree. Sorry. I decided to get more comfortable during that segment, and I decided I'm not moving. I hurt my back earlier this week, so I'm going to continue leaning back. I hope that's okay with everyone at home. It's very comfortable this way. I recommend it.
You can use one of the... you have one of the...
I got a whole pile of pillows behind me. Look at this, by the way. Sorry, I just got to brag about these amazing pillows. Hello. Right? Sorry, that was lame, but Maddie did good work on the pillows, and I wanted to give her a shout out.
Can we have those at home? Thanks.
Well, now we have to. Okay, guys, so thank you very much. We wanted to give everyone an update on where we are, and I did pop into chat for a moment, and everyone is screaming. They want to see our reworks.
Yeah.
And in fact, this is our next segment. So thank you, gentlemen, and now we shall move into the Season 6 phase of the show. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Just a reminder, Season 6 is called Heroes March. It's on a screen. It's over there, kind of. It's also on that screen you just saw. Heroes March, and it kicks off on May 17th. And also a quick reminder, Twitch drops are happening during the show right now. If you have not linked your Ubisoft Uplay account to your Twitch account, do it right now. You still have time to get them sweet rewards. So after an hour of viewing time, you're going to get 3 crates. And then every 10 minutes of the show, we are going to be picking a winner for 100,000 steel. So get into it. All right, enough of that.
How much?
100,000 steel.
What?
Yes.
And Damien allowed that?
Damien has suggested it, of all people. He was on cough syrup that day.
He took it from his personal paycheck?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So welcome. We've got a big group here. Roman, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
People are very happy to see you, I'm sure. Roman is our creative director and very involved on the fight side of things, which is why he's joining us for this segment. Who are you, sir?
My name's Stefan. Hello.
The anti-Roman. No, you're just very different people. That's all I'm saying. You're both good in your own ways. Steph is our fight designer, and he will be presenting our reworks today, back with Bodrat and Oscar, who you just met. We thought it'd be fun to bring them on to do the demos with us, so that's why we're doing that. So, it would be great if I adjusted Bodrat's mic. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, getting stage directions. It would be great if we could jump in now because people are like, shut up, stop talking, show me the reworks. Roman, do you want to kick us off? What is our first one that we're going to do here and why?
So we'll start with the Peacekeeper.
Whoa!
Yes. Why with the Peacekeeper? Because she's a little bit weak and we think she needs a... No. It's because, yes, she's a really strong character, but the issue with her is that the moves in her kit that are actually useful and make her that strong are a little bit too limited, and you don't play with the full potential of the character. So in that rework there is a part of rebalance, and yes, a little bit of a nerf in order to lower a little bit her power, but also a buff or modification of other of her moves in order to make her playstyle a little bit more interesting. Not only as fighting with her, but also fighting against her. So maybe, Steph, you can give us a quick overlook of what you did?
Sure.
What your team did, sorry.
Well, it's all teamwork here. There's 3 points that we want to hit on this character across her. As you say, she doesn't use the entirety of her kit. We want to use the certain moves that she's got that we never see pros or top players use at all. Difficulties to sustain offense. Yes, she does lights, but then does she throw the heavy finisher? Right now, no. We'd love to see that. And finally, damage output being too high across the board. So kind of as we go through these things, just think about these are the 3 points we want to address on her.
So let's start with the first change on the Peacekeeper. One thing that is really iconic of the character, and that is supposed to be really the core of her fight style, which is the dagger cancel. And there's some changes on that side, right?
Yes. Right now, dagger cancel kind of sucks on this character because it comes from the same direction as her heavy. So if she launches heavy opener and tries the dagger cancel before from left, the dagger cancel would come on left. That means the opponent could block, and then with no further extra effort would block the dagger cancel or the heavy. Parry timing actually overlapped as well, so PKs would be further punished by trying to dagger cancel by giving up a heavier punish when the opponent parried it.
So how does it work now?
So now it works the other way. You throw a heavy from any direction you want, and the dagger cancel always comes out top. So you see there he's doing right heavies cancel to dagger cancel top. And it doesn't matter which way you wiggle the stick, it's always going to come out top. We did the same thing on her heavy openers. We did the same thing on her heavy finishers. And we did the same thing on her zone attack dagger cancel of the second hit. So we hope this means that PKs will throw the dagger cancel and, throw the zone attack and finish with a dagger cancel sometimes. sometimes throw the zone attack and show you what the second hit of the zone attack, the real second hit. I don't know if anyone's ever
There's
seen
actually
that.
a second hit to the zone attack, really?
I'm told there is, but I've only seen it when people go out of stamina as a mistake. We also hope this means that they will use heavy openers and use the dagger cancel as a mix-up and actually finish a light chain with a heavy finisher that could end up as real heavy finisher or dagger cancel.
Okay. So apparently game audio is too loud. That's what you were saying.
I was being slick about it, Ramon. But yes, the game audio is too loud. We're fixing it.
Okay, cool.
Thanks,
I
Max.
hope everyone heard all that stuff. Dagger cancel is good. There you go. Short
No,
form.
dagger cancel is good. But not only dagger cancel is good, we also did some work on our heavy finishers, right?
Yes. Heavy finishers before didn't have a lot of options. All you could do is feint them or let them fly. So I think that's a big part of the reason why no one even bothered to throw them before. Dagger cancel, yes, is on there. But now we can also guard break cancel or dodge cancel the heavy finisher. So she had this on the heavy openers, which is good for surviving in group fights because you could dodge away if you get scared by a second attacker, or you could throw that guard break to mess up someone who's trying to parry you.
Good. Okay, now let's get to the nerf part because yes, we had some new cool moves to our new elements in our toolkit, but also nerf bats coming.
Yep, a little bit. Don't feel bad, Peacekeepers, because you got some cool actual ability to use the rest of your kit. But some things are going to be reduced in damage. Zone attack used to be 20 on the first hit, is now 15 on the first hit. We think this is really important because Peacekeepers are using zone attack a lot and very successfully, as Bodrad is doing right there. And this means that before, when she could kill you in, what, like 6, I guess, zone attack first hits, now it's going to take her 8, assuming you have 120 HP. So this is really good because maybe you can parry and punish, and you'll be a little better off when you can start to read her. Light openers are now 13 damage. They were 17. Heavy opener is now 20. Used to be 33.
Hello.
So that's a big one.
33. Oh my goodness. How?
How did you do that?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
What happened that day?
This is what happened for the last 5 seasons. I don't know. That cough syrup that Damien had, I guess. Yeah, that had to be brought down. She was beating Highlander. She was beating Berserker with trades, and that's strange. Heavy finisher is now 25 damage, down from 30. What else we got here? Dashing thrust, so 4 dodge heavy is now 15, used to be 20. And deep gouge, which is that stab, now does 10 damage worth of bleed, down from 15. Over the same amount of time, just takes a little bit less damage.
Okay, so that's the nerf part. But actually, to help and to compensate, there is one thing that is at the core of the Peacekeeper. It's the bleed mechanic. And so now by improving our dagger cancel work, you're going to be able to use more the bleed. And actually, we changed a little bit how the bleed effect work and how it's stacked to make it more interesting in terms of fighting, right?
Exactly. Before, Peacekeeper's bleed did not stack. So when she hit you with a bleed, it was in her best interest to not attempt to hit you with another bleed, because it would actually replace the old one with the new one, which meant instead of 15 plus 15 damage, it would be, instead of being 30, it would be however much it ticked for, so say 2 damage plus 15 for 17. So she's actually like taking more risk for basically no benefit. So now we allow her to stack the bleeds as she likes. So you can see if he does like dagger cancel, dagger cancel, dagger cancel, that red bar go up.
Good.
Very interesting.
Yep.
Yes.
So it should also, I think, contribute to, like you may have seen Peacekeepers like attack you and then run away, attack you and then run away. Now Peacekeepers are incentivized to stay and fight a little more.
Yeah, and to continue to apply pressure and use more of our moves. Nice. Okay. So that's it for the moment for Peacekeeper.
But I think that's interesting where it wasn't a simple balance change. It wasn't simple tweaks. That's sort of why it was a rework. Yeah. Yes, there was a lot of nerfing, but there was also interesting things added. And that's sort of what you do in these update, what do you want to call them, updates or reworks or whatever. So that's
Yes,
cool.
Yeah,
adding
she's a
lot of options to the character.
Right.
Exactly. It was a fun case because she actually has all these things kind of hiding under the surface, but they're not pulled out of her enough to be worth using. But
Yeah,
now
and
they
I
will
think
be.
so. We posted a blog called State of Balance, which showed our season 4 data from our heroes. We're going to do it again for season 5, just in a couple weeks. And I think on both of those blogs, they see how high up the PK is. We obviously see it as well. So, but I think what was important when you first told me about it wasn't to knock her down to the bottom.
Yeah.
It was to bring her in line more with the rest of the
Exactly,
group.
and that's why we did not act directly after season 4, this kind of thing. It was because, yes, she's strong, but she was not game-breaking strong first. But also, we did not want it just to nerf her, and then she's not really useful, because her power was coming from limited elements of her toolkit.
Right.
And so if we had nerfed her at that time, then the character might have become useless. So we
Right.
prefer to rework it and make it more interesting as a character, and then make this adjustment.
Cool. Well,
Okay.
speaking of interesting as a character,
No, next in line. So the next character was and is still today the most picked character, and that started after our first close alpha, and since then is the most picked character, even if it's a little bit weak-ish, really
Still,
weak
it's true.
at the moment. And no, be ready, Baby Samurai is gonna be strong. So next guy, the Orochi.
the
Yes.
Orochi, and this is why we brought Oscar specifically. He is Mr. Orochi himself. Oscar, how you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good.
Feel pretty good as an Orochi today? Okay, let's show them why.
Yeah, it's a fun time because I mean I know Orochi's felt particularly bad at the start of season 5 because with the parry guard break changes, we nerfed top light to be 22 damage from 32. So I know Orochis are feeling, oh no, we've been left behind, and yeah, it was a rough patch. Sorry about that, but we have to make certain calls, like the parry guard break, which I think was best for the health of the overall game. And now you can come back out into the sun because.
And we were working at that moment on the revamp of the Orochi, and we were like, yeah, okay, we accept that for a small period of time, Orochi will be even less good, but good things
Just
are
for the
coming.
short term.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start. So the first thing, it's one of his most iconic moves, the Storm Rush, and know that move is it's gonna actually be useful and not just a show-off move, right?
Yeah, exactly. Before it was super telegraphed, this would mean that it's going to come from his right. But now, as you can see, one is moving the stick around. So maybe this attack will come from a different direction. You want to let it fly? Oh, it came from the left. Holy smokes. It's good. And it can come from top, and it can come from right. They're slightly different speeds. You can see that the top one has the interesting property of being undodgeable, which meant that if the opponent just goes, oh, I'm scared of all three options, well, guess what? The top is going to get them anyway. So that's really cool. It's super fast. We did take away the direct cancel into guard break, but you can still B cancel and then throw guard break, which...
Yeah. You can feint it anytime before the attack actually starts.
Yeah. So that's pretty strong, and it counts as the first hit in the chain.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. Do you wanna throw it? Awesome.
So you can start chaining now with that move, and we'll come back a bit later on the Orochi's chains because we've made some changes also on that front. But just before going there, there is another really iconic move of the Orochi that has changed, which is the Riptide Strike.
Yes. So Storm Rush we changed because Orochi had weak initiation opportunities, and Riptide Strike we're changing because we want Orochi to be good at counterattacking, which kind of was, but kind of not quite enough, I think. So here we've changed the input. This is a big deal. So now it's on back dodge, light attack. If it's blocked, then it does a interrupt block reaction, but it's very fast now. And what's interesting on back dodge is that it protects Storm Rush a bit, which takes a little bit longer and gets you into the mix-up that you want to do. if they try to see you back dodging and try to follow you and punish you with something, Riptide Strike is going to smoke them.
Good.
So that's pretty cool.
Because that's, with the current Orochi, that's one of his big issues, is that he's lacking openers. He doesn't have a good move to get you started and get you in the fight. So now we're giving him a couple, but also we reworked all of his chains, and especially the initiating aspects of the chains going with timings, right?
Yes. So all the way through the chain, basically, there's been a minor adjustment. Side lights are now 500 MS. They used to be 600. So hopefully we can attack from any direction now. Second light in the chains used to be 500, are now 400. So throw the second attack after you hit the first light, even if it's from the side. And the light finishers, top is 400, sides are 500.
So much faster.
Much faster. So we're going all the way through the chain now.
So now it's actually, it's back. The Orochi is back. It's a fast character.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So it's going to be Storm Rush in an attack or counter attack in an attack, and then keep it going. Attack and then sustain. That's a goal.
And actually, to take full advantage of that, we've created and added new chains to the Orochi. 3 new chains.
Yes. Light, light, heavy, light, heavy, and heavy, light, heavy. Yes, I got them all correctly. And what this means is before, even if the chains are fast, you can just see, oh, well, it's a second hit, therefore it's going to be a light, therefore I'll just parry in that direction. And it wasn't a lot of thought to defeat it. And now because at any time Orochi could decide, all right, I'm going to do my heavy finisher, that means you can't just see an indicator and throw it a parry attempt to beat the light, because maybe it'll be the heavy and your time will be wrong and you'll get hammered.
Okay, and one thing also that is really interesting now with the Orochi, and that's part of adding more chains to the Orochi with more diverse finisher, is that now you can cancel any finishers with a dodge.
Yes, the finisher recovery. So after the strike, you hit, you get blocked, you miss. You can see there. Boom, boom, finisher, dodge, cancel, continue. So we talked about, oh yeah, you can initiate now, good. You can sustain, good. You can sustain as much as you want now.
So just for the record, here he's playing without stamina. So
Yeah.
he
Good
doesn't
point.
have to manage that.
This is a good point.
You can't chain that much for that long with the character.
Thank you
and
for saying that.
console.
But yeah, I mean, like eventually going to run
Yeah,
out
we
of scam.
removed the stamina from the Orochi.
That's maybe a little too good.
No, it's the option in the arena option.
Yeah, but it's really cool because it allows you to keep going. You throw that finisher. You can continue to put pressure with another Storm Rush or the side attacks or Riptide. It makes Orochi a little more interesting in group fights because in group fights, yeah, Orochi doesn't have an unblockable or anything crazy like that. But you know what? Orochi can throw that finisher at somebody and then dodge before somebody else punishes them. So you can maybe dance and weave through the fight a little bit more.
Nice. And the last part, it's a little bit of rebalancing in terms of damage.
Yep.
So a little bit of nerf and buff at the same time.
Exactly. So light openers, we reduce the damage a little bit.
Because they're much faster.
Because you can hit with them now. Yeah, exactly. So 15 down from 17. Second chain lights were 15, are now 12. Maybe I should have said that backwards. They're now 12, so a little bit nerfed. Because we expect you to hit with light openers and light seconds now. And the side light finishers are now 17, so a little up. Top heavy and side heavy finishers are up to 35 and 30, so a buff of 5.
Yeah. So now you really have an incentive to try to land those last move in the chains. So your opponent's gonna be scared of them, and then it's interesting to cancel them or do all those kind of things with.
Exactly.
Cool. Amazing.
I think that's it for those 2 characters.
Oscar, how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the changes. I was worried because of last season, obviously, with the parry changes and stuff, they had to turn down the top light. And I didn't know when these reworks were going to be coming in, but no, I'm going to be playing them all the time now.
Right, that was going to be my question, because you moved to Berserker in the earlier thing that we played, and in some tournaments recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you might go back to Orochi?
I'm definitely playing Orochi. Yeah, that's no doubt about it.
That's good. Similar question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to...
Go ahead, Steph.
I didn't mean to
Please.
take control. I got a similar question for Bodrat. Do you think Peacekeeper will still be played at tournament level?
Yeah, so like Peacekeeper will still be viable at the tournament level, but she will no longer be as strong as she was. She was strong for the wrong reasons before because of her extreme damage. She used to do more damage than a Raider top heavy. Now obviously has went down, so it was a nerf she needed, and she got a pretty good opener now to open people up with the stab. So I think she'll still be picked, but she'll no longer be a mandatory pick at a high level. So you'll still see a lot of Peacekeepers around, but you'll also see different characters taking her spot, just different compositions pretty much. And speaking of a tournament, we have 4v4 Dominion tournament this Saturday, which will be hosted by Ender Vex. So thank you, Ender.
Oh, and we got a beautiful graphic.
Yep, and if you need any help finding any teams or scrims, just feel free to message me on Discord, and I can help you find a team. Or if you need any scrims, feel free to join Full Glory.
Nice plugs. We're doing plugs now.
Smooth.
So we thought, since we just demoed these two characters and we have these guys here, why not have them do a duel, huh?
Yes.
So why don't you guys cue that up?
While they get ready,
yeah.
While they get ready, a little bit more on that next season. So there is more balancing and bug fixes for the release of that season. Other character got some smaller improvements or changes. We'll go into that detail a little bit later before the season. Next week, you said?
Yeah, we're gonna do patch notes next week.
Next week, but that's not just the things. And same thing. Yes, new heroes are coming at some point, but also other reworks will be coming. We are not done with reworks. We'll continue to revamp.
If you're disappointed today, because I know who's yelling about
look
what.
At some characters, like let's say, I don't know, look at the chat. And I think you get a pretty good idea of what character we are currently reworking, and we're giving them some love, don't worry.
Yes.
That's coming.
Actually, I would also say we're doing what we call a rift as we speak, which both these guys participate in. They can't right now because they're on stage, but we do private tests of changes and reworks.
So what
that
we
we're
call
working
rift,
on.
it's rapid iterative fight test. So it's a specific process that we have with those guys and all of our top players, if we can say that. And we have a private Discord with them. We discuss stuff around the fight, balancing, etc. And often we have some private play session on dev build with them to collect their feedback on what we're doing.
So that's really interesting because these reworks aren't done in a vacuum. We obviously see the feedback online from everybody, but we also have a direct dialogue about it with a number of players. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. I also want to mention that Steph and his team have written up a couple great blog posts about each of those reworks, and those will be going live in a couple weeks on our website.
So now, let's see the fight.
Let's see it. And so there's no holding back. I want to see who actually prevails here, although I think...
Max?
Yes.
Dagger cancel opens right off the bat. I love it. I've never seen this move before.
I think my money is going to be on Oscar Orochi, even though I'm actually a PK main myself. Big surprise.
I think we've seen 3 dagger cancels hit so far. Orochi's 2 Riptide strikes.
I got wrapped.
That's a wrap.
You'll get him in this round. Don't worry.
Yeah, I got him. I'm confident.
Round 2.
Give him a little shuck and jive. Rope-a-dope. Just saying words that I've seen in boxing movies.
Heavy finisher.
Okay.
Let it fly.
I did the heavy
What is
finisher.
Don't rush
Pete.
attempts.
Oh.
One more. It's good. Just stay alive.
Yes. Nice try.
Okay, 1-1.
I'm losing because I'm jet lagged.
Yeah. Nice excuse.
Round 3.
And also, it's not the best conditions to have duel. They are standing far from the screen. They are not in front of the screen.
And
Not
they also
necessarily
mentioned to me they're on because our internal network is not the same latency they're used to.
Yeah. Because firewalls and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe you should mention that actually while they fight. Speaking of latency, we also just made a change.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So recently we added the input lag compensation. Basically, this is live on PC and console as of 2 weeks ago, something like this.
Sure.
Sure.
The console was last week.
Last week? Okay, yeah. And what this means is there's a 33 ms input lag from when you press the button to when the action happens. We think this will mean a bit more ability for you to see more of the attack. Because before, if you were at whatever network lag between you and your opponents, that extra 33 milliseconds will mean, hey, you get to see that portion of the attack.
Yeah, and that's just our first step into dealing with latency.
Yes.
So here you were able to see the stacking of the bleeds and how much it changed the way you play with the PK.
Yeah, use those bleeds, Bodrat.
I'm trying.
I'm a little bit disappointed, Oscar.
Uh-oh.
Like yesterday during the preparation, you just steamrolled the guy.
He did.
I was afraid of everybody screaming Orochi OP, etc.
I know it's because I was.
My money is on you, buddy. What are you doing?
I was jet lagged yesterday.
From his drive in Ottawa. All right, Oscar, finish it.
Oh no!
There's a new story.
New Orochi. He has Pope support.
This is very close. I like it.
It's tense. Heavy finisher again.
Oh, and actually, on that, on the patch that is coming with the season, there's an adjustment on the guard of the Orochi.
Yeah. Sorry.
On the reaction block.
Yes. Raider, Orochi, Conqueror had a branching to dodge from the reaction block that was 100 ms before anyone else could act. This is a little strange because why can they dodge away when no one else can? So certain combos and punishes worked on other characters, but not these characters. We're trying to standardize this so you don't have to know ultra minutia of
each individual one.
Who can sneak out of your combos.
Yeah.
So all that bullshit is gone.
Exactly.
All that bullshit is gone. You heard it here first. I also just mentioned before we go that if you're watching the stream and you haven't played for a long time, last season, this current season that we're in right now, Season 5, there were a number of changes as well. Kensei got a very full rework. Conqueror also did. Berserker. And then Highlander as well got a pretty heavy balance change. So there's a lot of changes that have happened over the last few months in the game. The parry change has also been mentioned. So there's a lot of changes happening and has happened. So it's a really fun time, I think, to see the result of a lot of discussions and a lot of work. So thank you very much, Steph, to you and your team.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks to everybody here.
And thanks to you guys for joining us. That was fun.
Yep.
And
thank you.
yeah, join Bodrat's tournament if you want to get some money. I guess there's money.
It's community funded. Yep, there'll be money.
Cool. And Ramon, thank you. You're going to stick around for a few more segments.
Yes.
So we're going to check out some more executions right now, and we'll be back with our map, folks, because you're getting a new map. Let's check it out. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you were excited by that last segment. But we're not done with the new content coming in Season 6.
Because we've got a new map.
We've got a new map, and it's friggin' awesome. So we're joined by one of our level designers, Ed, who we've seen on the show many times, and our assistant art director. You're in charge of the maps, Nicolas Blanchard. But I know, guys. I'm working on it. I'm as American as you can get. But before that, Roman, give us a little taste here. What's going on?
Because actually, the map that we're gonna see hasn't been done here in Montreal. So it's been a year now that we're working with Studio Gobo in the UK, in Brighton, and those guys are really good. They're awesome. Yeah. It's really great to work with those guys. They are the team that created for us the whole revamp of the onboarding, the new trials, the new arena. But also, they have been working for multiplayer maps for us. And the first map that we will release for them comes this season.
Yes, and it's called the Beachhead. So Ed and Nico.
And because I'm French, I'm not giving the name of the map.
Oh, that's why you let me do it? Okay. See, it goes both ways. The Beachhead.
It's a tricky word.
So let's check it out, guys. Let's switch over to Ed's feed, please. Here we go. It's a samurai map. So before we even get into the details, what modes is this playable on?
So this map is playable in Dominion, Skirmish, Elimination, Brawl, and Duel.
Excellent.
Yep. So I think people will be happy to get a new Dominion map this season.
So as you can see, you spawn directly inside like a Japanese fortress. So I'm not going to spoil the reveal that we're going to have on the other side, but that's basically it. So like Edgar showed us already, like that you have there's a courtyard at your back when you spawn with those big 2 statues. So it's pretty impressive. So now you get into the like a kind of big gatehouse.
Yeah.
And then you end up on the ramparts. And you arrive in the first capture point that we call the armory.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it's full of like swords and katanas and all kind of weapons that you can find in the game. Those big shields on the walls. So it's also a deadly space because there are some spikes here and there. There's like a kind of a workstation so they can repair all these weapons. So this is basically the first capture point that you're going to encounter.
Yeah, this is the capture point that's closest to the defender spawn. So they'll be most likely wanting to cap this one at match start.
And here we discover the rest of the map.
Which is the surprise, because this is really based on that map of the campaign that we showed 2 years ago, and that was really well appreciated by players. So we had that idea since the beginning that it would have been super interesting to have a PvP map inside this map, because the feeling was great, the ambience, that feeling of D-Day, when you
Viking D-Day.
The Viking D-Day when they read into that fortress was super interesting. So I thought it could sound easy to do. Let's just
change
the game mode. It's not that easy at all.
Of course, we couldn't just take that exact map.
No, those guys worked really hard.
Because it's a totally different. You cannot do a linear a campaign map as you do a PvP. So we had to reshuffle all the landmarks, all the layout itself. So there are some similarities, but everything has been revamped to give a really new fleshed out experience.
And Ed, you pointed out to me that it's a very symmetrical map, yeah?
Yes. So it's close to the type of map of Citadel Gate. So it's kind of like the capture points are offset, and it follows in that sort of design.
So here you can recognize the boats that we have on the campaign as well. So we rework them as well. There's a lot of work that's been done on the ground and make sure that everything is balanced. So you will, for the ones who play the campaign, it will look familiar.
Yeah. So this is actually the attacker. The intro of the attackers coming in here is pretty badass. You see them; they're actually on the ship, similar to the campaign intro cinematic that we showed at E3 2 years ago. When you play this map in Dominion, you have a similar sort of the attackers disembarking the ships and raiding, starting to run up the beach and starting to raid the castle. So it's pretty cool.
Just quick apologies to chat. We're also seeing the frame rate issues right now. I think we just have a PC issue up here.
So it's not prime in the map because on the computer it's running perfectly well, but we have some network issues, I guess.
Yeah.
So you have quite a few navigational flows that lead to each capture point. So I think they work very well. It's also a bit one of our smaller sized Dominion maps, I would say.
So it's faster paced.
Yeah, exactly. So I like the pacing of those kinds of maps.
So this is the second capture point. So basically, you can come from like the first from the ground compared to the other one where you have to take a ladder and a ramp. This one is like what we call the ballista area, because basically there's a kind of there's a foundry at the back where they are like making those huge artillery weapon. And it's a two-story capture point, so it's a bit different from the one on the other side. And here again, you have a nice view on the battlefield down the lane, so it's pretty interesting. So you can spot everywhere. So there's a really strategic component to that map.
Really good death from above possibilities. Huh?
Yeah, it's a capture point that is a little bit tough to take if it's well defended, because there's a lot of DFA opportunities on it. It's really interesting.
And you can look in. What's interesting here is that you can see the other capture point, so you can see if your buddies need help or if
taunt the opponent.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You can have a guy on the opposite side and have a taunting battle. Then of course have someone come up behind you and put an axe through your head.
I look forward to seeing those memes.
Yep.
Some fire traps here.
Yeah, there are a few dangers like this. Like there's a pit down there where you can throw people directly on the spikes.
Spikes weren't enough, so they put fire on the spikes.
Spike doesn't kill you.
Deadly spikes.
So you get roasted, you get put on the spike. Right? So here we see the map in a Valkanine type of environment with the snow at Petit Matin, if I can say.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly Petit Matin. That's how it's called.
For Christian. But of course, the map is different. If you play it in the mire, it's going to get a little bit more rainy at night.
In the mire, it actually looks very similar to that campaign mission we have in the game, so people feel pretty nostalgic about that one.
And also we have an asphalt version of it, a little bit more dry and more during daytime. So that's really a nice map. It's really cool to play. Really fast paced. I really like the map.
Yeah, I like the size of it. Cool. I like it's the small contained size.
Yeah, cool. There's a lot of elevation, so it makes it different from the other ones.
Again, kudos to the guy at Gobo, because they did really an amazing job with that map.
Cheers, guys. I was told that they're probably going to be drinking beer and watching, because it's the end of the day for them. So cheers. Have a drink on us, please. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, because there's more
work to do on more things. So cool.
We still have a couple of stuff from there.
Oh, yes.
Can't wait to show that later on.
Absolutely. Any last bits you want to share yourselves while you're here?
It was just really a great collaboration with Gobo, so it was a very positive experience working with them.
Yeah, they're super talented guys. They had a lot of ideas that they brought inside that map, so super happy about the result. And like you said, super fun map to play. So
cool. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to roll on. I'm going to show some more executions and come back with Christian and Anthony to show us some new gear.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back. God, those executions are so good. So good. And there's still more that you haven't seen, I think. So, welcome, Christian, you're back.
Hi, guys.
Anthony, you're back. These guys
Hello.
have been on a few times. They always come on to show the pretty stuff. So what have you got for us today?
But today we have a special build with the new gear, and for this season we have something new. We've been trying out something on the weapons where you're gonna have some areas on the weapon that's gonna take the color swatch and the primary color. We're trying out that. So the guys, when you're gonna test that out, you'll tell us what you think. If you like it, if you think it's a value, maybe we'll be adding more. We're also trying some stuff with the material change as well. So you'll tell us. Be vocal about that.
Spoiler. It's fucking amazing.
It is. It's really cool. When you say the material change, is that as part of this as well, or that's coming later?
It's coming later.
Okay, yeah. So for this batch, it's a color swatch.
Right, color swatch, yeah.
Cool. Just wanted to clarify.
Exactly.
Great. All right. Well, let's check it out. Anthony, show us. Well, hold on when Max. Please cut over, Max. All right.
So here we go. So this is the Warden sword. So we're gonna start with the knights first.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
No. Centurion, my boy. What did you give me?
It's nice.
Nice eagle.
Nice.
I love the
on this.
detail on the blade of this one.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Little etchings.
So this is the first example of what Christian was talking about. So the customization.
So what you see there in the blue is actually
Exactly.
the color that will change with your swatch.
Exactly. So on paint and the gems for this one.
Oh, the
it's gonna-
gems as well?
Yeah, gems as
Oh,
well.
damn.
That's fucking beautiful.
Wow.
Same thing for this one.
Very cool.
Yeah, the red on the shield.
Exactly. So the
Oh,
paint,
cool.
the gems on the top here. So.
Is that like a dragon and a priest with a sword?
Yeah, it's some
That's-
sort of
Any
some sort of-
conqueror in the room?
Some
Wow.
sort of storytelling going on here.
Yeah.
So.
And again here with this red that we're seeing.
This one's not part of
Oh.
of the collection that has it. So this
Okay,
one's
so this is
unique.
just a red
Yeah, this
item.
one is a unique
Cool.
weapon.
You know, when we were preparing the build with Anthony, we were debating on, okay, what color would be the best, and we have obviously different favorite colors. So we got into this game of just tweaking that. It's just a pleasure.
Oh man.
So as you know, also we're working with the texture artist as developing different materials, different recipes. Sometimes we experiment a little bit more, and when the recipes get super good, we try to reuse it, tweaking a little bit. We learn a lot, and you can see that on the weapons, it's getting better, and sometimes you see new stuff. We're working with Substance. Maybe you want to say a little word on it.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So we create many different materials in Substance itself and try to apply it on the weapons, see what works best, try to reuse these and try to create different types of materials, also different types of the same metal.
So Eric, do you know what Substance is?
I have no idea what substance is. I'm just nodding politely.
It's just a software. It's mostly for people that want to get into the art thing.
The art thing.
So yeah, we use that software just to apply and create the materials. Whatever you see, it's metal, wood, paint. It's all done in that software. It really creates a workflow that is where we can reuse recipes. So we try to get a constant type of quality.
Cool.
And the results are just getting better and better. This one has the team color.
This one, no, but this, no, not this one. Sorry, it doesn't have. It's not part of the collection that has it.
This one, the hilt is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a lot of details on it, so pretty specific for this one.
Ninja.
Yes, this
Love
one has like
that one.
paintings on the handle.
Yeah, this one has
crazy.
Cool designs on it.
Looks like Gaelix arms.
That one is beautiful. Just the work on the blade.
Yeah.
This one has the team color.
This one is one of the.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's crazy, the metal, the way it reflects lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see the three types of material there: the very sharp blade, the more rough metal, and the paint there. creates a nice rhythm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Exactly. So this is what one of Painter's better usage. So we can apply different materials on different areas of the same object.
Cool.
Raider.
The wolf.
You can get close to the top part of the axis. That's amazing details. You see that the artists are really having fun because they're, you know, when we review the files, the ZBrush and the concepts, we're just amazed with the amount,
right?
Because we have such an amount of assets to create, and the guys try to push themselves each time, and they still surprise us today. So this is incredible work from the artist team.
Hey, you got your Cthulhu wall.
Yes.
Maybe you're gonna switch character.
All of our Cthulhu fans. Yeah, I probably should.
I love those Damas blade. You know,
Yeah.
it's
that alloy look.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Wow.
So when you have a reflective type of surface like that, it's going to be very visible in nighttime environments with all the reflections, the fire. These are going to be very shiny, very appealing.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's the last one.
Ooh.
This one has
The
color
shaman.
change also.
It's crazy. Zoom on the.
So that's got a black
on the head
swatch applied, is that right?
Yeah. Wow.
So this one is a team color, if I remember.
Yeah, this one
well.
has. So everything that's painted black on this one has team color usually.
Awesome.
And if it's not, if you're not in dual mode or something 2v2 or something like that, it's gonna take your first
Right.
color also.
Whether you're attacker or defender.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool.
So guys, let us think what you think about the color swatch applied to the weapons. If you like them, we're gonna add more. So be vocal on that.
Yeah.
Yes, and we should make it clear that is applied to this current batch. It's not
Yeah.
like you're going to log in on the 6th and all of your weapons.
No, not at all. Yeah,
Since the beginning of time.
You need to loot those weapons.
Right.
But
All the
they're
more
fucking
reason to
badass.
loot those. Very cool, guys. Well,
Thanks.
thank you as always. I know that maybe there's even more cool stuff coming this season that we can't talk about.
It might be not the only gear that will be new that season, but
But we'll get to that bridge later. So thank you so much for your time. As always, we'll have you back on soon. And now we are going to show you some more executions and come back with Bio and Damien with a progression update.
see you guys.
Whenever you're ready.
Bugs.
Welcome back. I've got my pillow.
Oh, hi.
Welcome back. Hey, Damien, you're
Hey.
back on the show.
Yes, I'm so happy.
But you're just a helper in this segment, really. You're just
Yeah,
you're a
I'm
demoist.
I'm a demoist.
Yes.
She's the star.
Bio is here to tell us about some cool stuff she and her team has done, starting with a very cool thing that sort of answers multiple requests in one go.
Yes, yes. We try to cover some requests that we had from the community about their inventory.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was looking at the stream and the Twitch chat, and people
Yeah.
were like, "But where will I put all those
Yeah.
new cool weapons? My inventory is full."
We have the solution for
We
you.
have the solution for you. Yes.
Let's hear it.
So it's an improvement to the change look option that we call the visual collection. So what is
visual
the
collection.
visual collection? So Damien, if you could go in your inventory so we can look at the
Yes.
change look option.
So I'm on the Kensei now, but
Of
nobody
course.
sees it. Of course, Kensei, my man. So if I go here, nothing has changed, okay. But
The magic happens when you go in
when
the
you go to
change
change
look
look,
option.
exactly. Now, whoa.
So you see
What is
here
this?
all the visuals, all the looks that you unlocked in the game. And you unlock the visuals naturally, automatically, as soon as you loot something from the scavenger crates or for the end of match. So as soon as you get a gear, you unlock the visual automatically. You even get a cool icon that tells you if you want to get a new visual.
Oh, nice.
So you can collect them all. And you will see all of the available visuals, all the available looks, and how to get them, which is really important
Exactly.
to know. If you didn't get something, how can you acquire that visual so you can get them all and finish your collection?
So if I take the example, this one, for example, I will destroy it. Okay, bad example because I have two of those. But just to show you that it's not based on what I have in my inventory. So, okay, I don't have that helmet anymore.
Yeah, the white helmet, you don't have it in your inventory.
Helmet. But if I go to change look, it's still there.
Exactly.
And I can still apply that visual.
Exactly. So
And
you
if-
don't need to hoard the visuals anymore. You can just dismantle them if you want, and you have to focus on the stats. So you will keep all those visuals in your account for everything that you unlock.
Love it.
So if I take the example of the weapons, because here there is something special, BO, is that
What's the
some
star?
of those?
So some of those are mysterious because they are rare weapons. They are the ones with the stars. So we just tease you what they will be, but you have to loot them to actually see the full visual. Yeah, or Google them, but
or Google.
this
Nobody
is
Googles.
cheating.
Don't
Don't do that. So the little triangles you see in the corner is actually the rarity at which you unlocked it. Because now you can apply the visuals cross rarity.
Oh, what?
Yes, I know.
No.
So those visuals that are more like training weapons, more ordinary, steel-like, that people may like, that are early level, you can still apply them to your legendary stat gears easily.
So here we don't have the example because we've looted only at the last rarity. But if I had some items from gray rarity that I haven't looted since then, I would be able to apply that visual even on a green item.
Exactly,
right?
and that also works for event items. So if you looted something in the Frostwind Festival, for example, when you had a lower level character, and you raise the level of that character and is now high reputation, you can use that visual and apply it to a higher level.
And for event weapons, it's even more specific because we don't take into account the rarity.
No, they are rarity agnostic
Yeah.
because they're special.
Because we're special.
As for the price, as soon as you loot something in the same rarity, it's going to be the same price as right now in the game. But if you have to go cross rarity, there's some modification on the price depending on the differences. So you're always interested in looting more stuff because it's going to get cheaper if you loot it in your current rarity.
Yeah, but we don't force you to loot again the same visual at the same rarity to apply it. Now you
Exactly.
can do cross rarities.
So now you have more space, you can go cross rarity, and we have a little surprise because we've been working on that feature for a while, and Damien?
Yeah, a very long time. and our beloved developers had an idea is to start saving the inventory of players, but many months ago.
Ooh.
So if everything works well, and finger crossed.
The first
because
time we do
you-
something like
First time
that.
we do something like that, so you don't know what you don't know. But since winter, the winter festival, the winter event, we saved everything. So even if you destroyed by mistake one of your super awesome, cool-looking weapon, winter weapon, etc., when we release that feature in Season 6, you should be able to apply that visual because we saved it. Then again, I advise you to not destroy all your items today. You can still keep them for 1 or 2 more weeks,
Yes.
just to be sure it works.
Hold on to them
But
until we get to season
hold on
6.
Yeah,
until
yeah,
we
yeah.
get to Season 6, but last test was working, so hopefully it should work.
Yes, so and Formula Hound is going to really allow you more freedom in the way you manage your visuals and you collect them also.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, that's
amazing.
really cool. So you can see here, I can clearly see which visual I'm missing. So if there is one, this one I really like it, I know I need
And
to
if
loot
you're
it
like
to
me,
get
you
it.
need it because not having all the things is unacceptable.
Frustrating.
Yeah, you need to collect them all.
That's great. Oh, they're like Pokemon.
A bit deadlier, but
Sure. Well, depending on
but
the
yeah,
Pokemon.
they look deadly.
And then we have other progression things that we release on Season 6. I don't think we'll go in the details of all of them because we're also having a show next week on the full patch notes. But just quickly, we have
So we
level
improved
2.
the rewards for ranked and tournaments, and we're gonna go in detail, like you said, next week about that.
Yeah.
But we also added 2 new reputation rewards. People were complaining they could not be flashy enough when they were high reputation, so we added an ornament for reputation 40 and a whole outfit for reputation 50. I don't remember the names. They are always so creatively named.
So here you can see that now I will get an exclusive ornament.
So you get
if I
a new
reach
ornament on top
40.
of it, and you
Sorry
will
about
get
that tiny picture.
2,
Yeah.
so 2 outfits for reputation 50.
We'll show it hopefully next week. But
Actually, if
here
you go to
just
ornaments,
to tease
It's
it.
a teaser now.
If you go to ornaments, you could show. No, okay.
No, because your character is not reputation 50.
Yeah, but
you gotta
maybe-
play, Eric. You gotta play.
Everyone's going, don't do it, Damien. You're
Don't
gonna
do
reveal
it,
things
Damien.
that we're not
Don't do it,
supposed to.
Damien.
No.
Don't.
This is what he does,
won't
guys.
appear
Don't
as
don't
rep.
stay there.
This is
Just
what-
leave the menu.
There are
There
some
it is.
surprises
Just
here.
leave the menu.
Ah, how
You're
are
doing
we
exactly
today?
like I do every time.
It happens
I
every
don't
time.
care
Every
what people
time.
tell me. Okay.
And also a new outline for your ornament as soon as you reach reputation 50 with 1 character to show that you're a baller.
Awesome.
Now you can have that unique
That
outline.
he can show.
That one you can show, and it's really unique starting this season.
Awesome.
I really love it. So every time you use that ornament, that outline, that means you have at least 1 character that's level 50.
Let's see if you can do it.
It's
Here.
this one.
Yes.
But Max
But
is
Max
not.
is- yeah.
So this one, if you reach rep 50,
Hit your right trigger. Yeah. Oh, I thought I was going to make it bigger. I thought I'd make it bigger. Nope. Just moves it over.
Eric plays way too much our game.
So that's it. So we'll go in detail about all those rewards next week. But
Yes.
the visual collections was really what we were exciting to show to everybody.
I wanted to tell them about it for months.
I know.
Because I knew
You were
the-
always, is it
each
ready
stage,
this patch?
each stage of their development. I was like, oh, I just want to tell them right now. We haven't even written the document yet, but I don't want to tell them. No.
But there's a lot of new tech involved in that improvement. Tracking everything that people have and having the unlock system is all new.
Yeah.
So we really think it's the best solution for people to have more power on how they manage their gear instead of just giving you more place to hoard stuff. Now you can really understand how you can unlock everything.
And we have as well a level 2 refinement for gear.
Yes.
But we'll go through that next week.
Okay. Thank you so much. I hope
Thank
people are
you.
psyched about that because it does answer a number of community requests that we've had over the last year. Thank you to your team, and thank you, Damien, for being you.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
We have one more batch of execution videos, and we're going to be back with our executioners to talk about the process of creating them. That should be a great deep dive look into that process. If you're interested in game development, specifically on the animation side, I think you'll have lots here to be interested in. Words. Let's check out the executions. We'll be right back. And we're back. Yes, so those executions are amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't worry, we're going to show a full recap of all of them at the end of this segment. So if you miss some, do not fret. I'm very excited about doing this. We've talked for a long time on our show about bringing this group on. Our community is very interested in everything you guys do, but specifically the executions. I think because they're so creative, they're so brutal, they want to know how we make them, like right from the conception phase all the way to the final phase, and this is the right crew to do it. So if you could quickly introduce each of yourselves, let's start with Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean, senior animator. I've been on the project since we were in Stickman, and do a lot of stuff, and executions are part of it.
Great. You should have said, Sean is my name, executions are my game.
No.
No?
No. I am a child of the 90s, but no. Still no.
Wow.
I would have to throw you my shoe if you said that.
Wow, fine. Guillaume, how about you?
My name is Guillaume. I'm the assistant animation director. I'm here to actually help people to actually design the finished kill, realize the finished kill, and make sure that everything works correctly.
Okay. And you, sir?
Hi. I'm Max Lefaria. I'm an actor and a stuntman, and I did a lot of mocap for the For Honor game.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to have Max because he's not sitting next to us like these guys are all day every day, but he's one of our mocap actors, super involved in not just the executions, the emotes, everything you see. So we're going to get into that, and actually I think we'll start with you, Max, because. Oh my God. Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. So you mentioned, you are a mocap actor.
Right.
You are an actor.
Yeah.
You are a stunt actor. Mm-hmm. And you're also a martial artist, yeah?
Yes.
Whew. That's going to be a hard job to find, because I know you need to look for this exact type of person, right, to recruit mocap actors?
It was a hard time to actually find the proper person, but we find them.
Yeah.
Now we actually have to live with them.
Turn them away?
Yeah.
So give me a little look into your background, how you got to working on For Honor, and so where you started, how you got to For Honor, what you do in addition to that.
Okay, how many hours do we have?
We've got 5 more hours.
Beautiful. So I started acting about 10 years ago. Started auditioning, the whole process, and then I got into stunts in 2011 with the movie Immortals.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started doing stunts this way. So I started, doing both. How I got onto For Honor, I actually just auditioned for it about 5 years ago, and it was an interesting process. I mean, we got to the audition room. I didn't have any text. I didn't have anything to learn. It just showed up, and they said, we'll show you once you're there. I'm like, all right. So I showed up, and Jason Vandenberg was there with, big beard, very, imposing man.
Did you assume he was an actor?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, are you a character in the game? And he just, he stood in front of me in the audition room, which was really small, and he says, grab a weapon. So, I grabbed 2 axes, and he was like, all right, now come at me as if you want to kill me. I'm like, okay. So I just came at him with the look and, screamed and, did everything I had to do. And he was like, all right, thank you very much. So I left, didn't hear about it for a while. And then about 2 weeks later, he says, okay, so you got the gig for...
That was it. That was the audition process.
That was the audition process. He says, okay,
Scream
grab
at Jason
weapons. Yeah. Grab some weapons, come at me as if you want to kill me. So, okay, and then switch weapons, come at me as if you want to kill me. Okay.
So the martial arts side, had that always just been a part of your life?
Yeah. I started doing martial arts really young. I started doing karate when I was about 6 years old. Kept doing it for 20-something years. I still do it today. And then through the stunts, I started doing, Muay Thai and Taekwondo a little bit, and learned some Kung Fu, not a lot. So just general martial arts through the stunt world, and
right.
Yeah, with my background in karate, Kyokushin karate.
And you're from Montreal?
Yeah.
And maybe people around the world watching aren't aware, but tons of movies get made here. This is like a hotbed, not just for games, but for movies as well.
Yeah, every summer there's a couple of American movies and Canadian movies and TV shows that come here.
Yeah.
It's a great place to work, honestly.
So that's sort of what you got into in addition to doing the mocap. That's very cool. Yep. Are you working on anything interesting right now that you want to share about?
That you're allowed?
That you're allowed. Well, a thing that just came out that I was in, it's a French TV show that's called Mensonge. So I got a good role in that, and it's out now on Addict TV, and it's going to be on TVA really soon. Other than that, I was for the bigger audience. I was in the X-Men movie that was shot last summer. That's coming. It's coming quite soon.
Nice.
And yeah, other than that, smaller stuff. Smaller TV shows, independent movies, web series. Some short films.
You told me. We shouldn't say the name of the movie, but you told me a funny story about going into a stunt role expecting some big stuff.
Yeah, that time. So basically, the story that would happen is that exactly. We can't really say what it was about, but I was supposed to do a stunt like everybody else. We were about 30 stuntmen and women. They're just about to get blown up, shooting guns, jumping over cars, and getting blown away and stuff like this. All cool stuff. And they said, okay, Max, actually, you're going to just stand by the car, and what you're going to do is you're just going to, light a cigarette. I'm like, okay. And then what? It says, nothing. You're frozen. Okay, great. So, I place myself. It's like, you're frozen, and then everybody gets unfrozen but you. Dope.
Lucky man.
Yeah. So everybody gets to shoot guns and all these cool stuff and everything, and I'm just like, and I couldn't even look at them because everything was frozen, so I'm just stuck like this. And it's great because I got a bunch of days just being frozen. But when you see all your buddies jumping and on fire, and
and the award goes not to you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You never know, right? Till you show up on
exactly.
set.
Sometimes you get days that you just stand around, and sometimes you hit the pavement and break some bones. Sometimes, and so it happens.
Yes, and I hear it happens sometimes, even when you do For Honor mocap shoots.
Yeah, sometimes because we are fighting, right? So even with all the rehearsals and everybody that's around us, that's really helping us develop all the characters and the finish kills and everything. Sometimes accident happens. I mean, we are fake fighting, but we are still fighting. So
there's always a risk. I mean, we're swinging sword, we're throwing people up in the air. It's at one point there's always a risk. We try to actually limit as maximum we could do, but there's always this small amount of time that you get.
And which is why we always try to pair up or hire professionals, people that have been doing it for a while. So, myself or Robert Montcalm, who plays, a bunch of the other characters.
Say hi to Robert.
Hi,
He's
Robert.
probably watching. Yeah,
hi, Robert.
We invited Robert. He was too busy for us.
I know.
You're our favorite, is what I'll say to Robert.
No, he was not. Now he is Robert. He is not favorite now.
Don't say that. He's going to cry.
I know. It's not true, Robert. It's not true.
So, yeah, sadly, he couldn't be here today. He was working, but he really wanted to. He told me that. And so we hire, a bunch of really good stuntmen, stunt coordinators, Jason Cavalier, Mark Desordi, Kevin Kelsall, Pete Seaborn. They're all people that are helping us to minimize the risk as much as possible, and at the same time to help us, develop the skills that we need to have for the shoot so that it's close to risk-free.
And maybe it seems obvious, but I wonder if there's any big differences between mocap acting versus, say, stunt acting.
Mocap acting versus stunt acting?
Yeah.
It's the suit.
Yeah. It's the tight suit with Velcro
suit.
and all the dots.
Leaves nothing to the imagination.
Sadly.
Wow.
We do look great. It's very tight. No, but yeah, of course, especially for this game, there is no facial, there is some, but it's very rare. So we got to act out, with our bodies a lot. So, when we scream, we do actually scream, but we don't see it in the game. So, we actually have to show the rah, we have, we actually have to show everything and exaggerate a little bit of everything.
Do you want to tell people you are the man behind the raw?
Yeah, I am the man behind the raw.
So
not the voice, though. That was actually Robert.
Yeah, that's the funny part. That's the funny part.
Funny.
The other mocap actor.
Robert Montcalm is the voice behind the raw, and I am the movement behind the raw. So
now, when you did it, did you
mix.
expect people would be spamming it a lot, or did you just think it'd be a cool song?
We learned a lot.
It's like you never know, right?
Right.
You start with something, and then we're creative, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna try something, and So I did that move, doing some emotes, and I had no idea it would become that big of a thing.
Nobody
for the
knew.
players. Yeah, right.
We actually have a good amount of footage from some mocap sessions, so we can start rolling that and keep discussing over it.
Oh boy.
Yes.
That'll be interesting.
Speaking of the tight suits, there they are.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's Robert and I and John Babst in the back.
A.K.A. Daubeny, apparently. So, because
yeah, right. Could be anywhere. Yeah. But so this is one of our finished kills, I suppose, from the pole axe.
Yeah.
So the Lawbringer. Oh yeah, that's the hockey one. And out goes my head.
Yes, and I think we called that one off with their heads.
That's it. And the man you saw that came in to help us with the movement is Jason Cavalier. He's our stunt coordinator at the moment, helping us with the game.
And this is in our studio, which is just down the street, right?
It's actually in another location.
A different one.
Yes. But it is in Montreal. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is going to be Peacekeeper?
This is the Viking.
No, Viking.
The Raider.
The Raider, that's right. So basically, whenever we're doing a finish kill, like Robin and I are playing either the victim or the character, right, or the hero. In this case, Bob was playing the
killer.
The killer. Oh yeah, that's the one.
Oh my God!
And of course, we have to give a shout out to the animators, because if the game actually looked like that, people will go, "This is completely off." Like,
what do you mean it's perfect?
No,
we're not. So who would be walking?
You don't actually kill each other. We tried that at first. It was really messy. The cleanup bills were enormous. So,
that's right.
Like you can see here.
I like this here because you can see his body language as Shigoki.
Yeah.
Trying to embody this giant fat man.
Oh yeah, that was the one where he
we don't actually have a 300-pound, like 7-foot-tall dude.
And in that one, if you take note of what just happened, that's the one we're going to use throughout this segment, sort of as an example of the process of doing an execution.
That's right.
So it looks not at all like you're being trampled upon by this man.
No, well, actually, since with the magic of mocap, we can do it off sync that we're saying. So that we call it. So Bob will be on the right side, I'll be on the left side, and it gives us the complete freedom to do the full move at full speed, right?
Without being afraid of
without being too close, without hitting each other like we would in movies, let's say, and we don't have to play with camera angles, so to make sure that the hit actually hits, we can actually do it off sync, go full throttle, and then the animators can just put us together.
Right. And
so yeah,
and everything after that, it's fixed in post. That's the joke. Like we'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we're the post.
Yeah, exactly.
But from talking with you guys earlier, it sounds like you really learned a lot over the course of our post-production too, of the best way to do these things, the best way to get the captures you want and get the action you want. And you were even saying that initially on you were actually hitting each other?
Yeah, that was early in the process.
That was not actually for the finish kill, was most likely for the in-game moves itself. So every time we're actually performing, I don't know, a parry or a block or every single thing was actually mocapped as it is. And then after that, we had to clean everything. And fast enough, we discovered that it was not the proper process to do it. Because what you want to have is an actor that feel powerful, but every single time, I mean, there's a sword coming at you, so you're more like
don't kill me.
Your reptile brain actually at a point is going to kick in and say, I'm not happy to be here, so, and it actually translates in your body position. You go like, oh my god, I don't like that.
For some.
So after a while, we decided to, okay, you know what, we need to actually separate those two guys. One's going to attack, one's going to defend, and then after that, we could actually have a better process to actually make that work together. So. But the finish kill, they are all together. They perform the same move together.
Right.
So we have the attacker and the defender that actually fits together.
Yeah, in the early process, I mean, Jason Vandenberg wanted the rawness and the realness of the weight of the weapons and everything. And it was actually heavier than it was supposed to be back in the day. Back in the day.
Hey, it's half a decade.
When we were all young, like 600 years ago. So we were actually fighting with metal weapons. So I was like iron or steel or aluminum, and trying different things. It was very early, we were trying a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we had to wear big protective gear, like hockey masks, just to make sure that we wouldn't kill ourselves if anything would happen. Big gloves and stuff. And we learned throughout the process, just like in movie fighting, that the real thing, when you're actually fighting, it doesn't really look good for the audience. For anybody watching it, sometimes you don't even understand what's happening. Like if you look at a boxing match or an MMA match, sometimes a hit happens and you got to go back. You have to go look at what happened to make sure that to see the knockout. Versus in movie fighting, you're gonna see everything. You're gonna You're going to exaggerate everything so that everybody can actually see what's happening.
A good hit is a hit that you're not able to see it coming. But if you don't see it coming, actually you don't see it. So that's why we actually put an emphasis on every single anticipation. And
right, and to that point, it was really also a process of finding the right actors for it, right? Like you auditioned some crazy swordsmen and stuff.
We had to we met a lot of people, but some people, like I was saying, they are a good fighter, but they're not able to actually showcase their acting about a factor. So that's why that we need to find people that they can act, but they have a good basis with weapon management.
Right.
So that's why Maxime and Robert actually stood up out of the other one, because they're able to actually they're answering those two criteria that they're super important for a game.
Very cool. So Sean, sorry, I'll turn to you now.
Okay, sure.
You're here. You're part of the conversation too.
Yes, I am.
Let's just talk through this process of doing. What do you start with?
Okay, so at the very, very beginning, before we even go to the shoot, we try to get the animators together and have brainstorming sessions. We'll move tables out of the way. We'll actually stand up and we'll do the acting, because I say this all the time, is the two things that animators need to do is do the sound effects with your voice, and if you have to, get up and do the animation. If you're animating a T-Rex, get your arms in and don't be shy about it. We did have
We'll come
video.
back to why you were animating a T-Rex later, I guess.
Different project.
That's a weird one, but sure.
different project. No, next faction is not T-Rexes.
No T-Rexes, no.
We're changing the era. No, but so we had some video of the animator group
the
doing
conception phase.
Yeah, doing some stuff, but I was asked very politely not to actually show that to I don't know how many people we have right now watching.
We didn't want to end the careers of some animators and make them shy. So
after that, it's sent over to mocap, and they do their stuff with the ideas, and they bring their own flavors and their own emotions to it.
Yep.
And then when we get back, what we get back from the mocap studio is not a person. It's actually just a cloud of dots.
Right.
It's a cloud. You saw those suits have all these little dots attached to them. What
Here
we
we go.
receive is this.
So this is that Shugoki execution.
Yes, this is Shugoki execution, and you can see we've got some helper items that are helper objects that are being tracked, but the main part is the cloud of dots. After that, we take our characters, which in this system are completely grayed out and don't have all the fun deformation stuff. They're quite simple, and as you can see, there's a lot of crashing. There's the interpenetration of the body, that kind of thing, and they're not actually synced up right now. And then we go through multiple levels of putting them together, adding in extra crunchiness into the animations, and finally, after all that, we review it, and we look at the important points that we want to capture for the camera, because the camera is one of the last things that we touch before sending it into the engine.
Yeah.
Now, once it's in engine, as you can
There
see
we go.
here, this is in engine with the animation, with the camera animation, and this is what gets reviewed before it gets shipped off away from the animators, and this is the victim cam. Now, we try to capture some really, really nice emotions from this. You know, get the feeling that you're being stomped on. That, by the way, is an idle breaker. That was completely random.
Pure luck.
Oh,
It
nice.
just ended up working super well. But yeah, so
just to interject, what struck me while watching this the other day, like in the mocap footage, is mocap acting is real acting. Like you're really selling that, even though he's like 5 feet away and he's not touching you at all, because you're the one being crushed to death, and you're really selling it. And I think that's really cool to see.
Oh, thank you.
It is a huge help, because then we can focus on the fine tuning and the last visceral feeling of actually breaking knees and arms and stuff like that, which we don't ask you guys to do. So
Yet.
But that yet no, as we said, clean up budget too high.
Yeah.
But the feeling like you saw the Shugoki, how after he finishes walking off, that sense of pride and just like like that is their acting, and you can see it in the mocap.
And if you want to just roll that again, Max, because another thing that's really interesting is you're not just doing the animation, you're also doing the camera work.
Yeah. So whenever
if I
we
can
do
jump
the
in
camera
for the camera, yes. Basically, what we do, first thing first, when we do it, we don't think about cameras. We just want to be sure that we have a proper set, those two action together and mix.
Because it will be visible from any angle. Any other player can see that happening.
Right.
So it has to look good from all angles. Afterwards, we go in
when it's actually done, after that, we just go and we try to actually tell the best story out of this move. So let's say that, okay, I'm doing this finish kill. I'm going to kill someone. What's going to be the best angle on this move? So we just work with the camera, saying this angle is kind of nice, this is kind of nice. Okay, we need to achieve those setups, and then after that, we try to make it a bit more dynamic. You see that we have a roll on the camera. We have actually...
Yes. And just to interject as well, this is what we call the gym, right? You guys call it the gym. This is just an internal tool we have. This is not. This is not an upcoming map. If it was, it would be awesome.
This map doesn't even have any shaders in it or anything like that. We try to go with just the as you can see, those guys by in the background, by the way, those are the stick figures. Those are our first characters for this game. They were the minions for quite a long time.
Yeah. So back on the camera, I wanted to ask you: is it hard? Does it make it hard for you because you're not playing to a specific camera or for a specific angle? You're being tracked from 360 degrees.
No, it actually makes it easier because we don't have to worry about where the camera is or, to sell the hit. Because, in movies, we're not actually hitting people.
What?
What? It's the magic of movies.
Oh.
I'll tell you about it later if you want.
You've ruined everything.
I know. I'm so sorry to kill the illusion. So we don't have to worry about the camera angles or anything because we're shot, 360 degrees, so which is awesome for us. We just have to be free and just do the execution, do the move, and these guys are going to put it together and sell the actual hit. So it's great.
Right.
And if you look at the first executions compared to now, we've progressed a lot in what we've tried to do with the cameras. Like the Lawbringer execution was probably our tightest shot, where it was really, really in close between the choke one, where you're so close that you can, if they don't have a helmet, you could see their eyes, kind of thing. And that was something that I'm like, can we do this? And it went really well. Like it passed really well. There's give and take on how much movement and whatever. But it's.
So after that version that you kind of use for validation, what happens then? What's the next step?
So it gets.
What's in the engine? You meaning?
Like after it gets validated with you.
Okay. Process-wise, after that, when we're happy with the animation and everything, it needs to be reviewed by Roman. Roman's going to be the yes and no to be sure that if
he's even reviewing this segment as we talk.
Yeah, I know.
Standing menacingly in the back.
He's just shaking his head.
No, we gotta cut this one.
No, basically, we want to be sure that we fit with the fantasy of it. If everything is working, then after that, when we're happy with this, it goes to sound, it goes to FX, and then after that. It's funnier because every single time that we send it to the FX and to the sound, when it came back, it's even more grateful that we thought it can be. So
they're heightening it every time.
It's incredible the job they're doing. They make us look good actually because every single time the sound came back, it's just freakingly awesome.
For that specific kill, the Foley noise of the bones cracking, just man, they do some excellent work. I gotta say, like that.
Yeah. And do we have footage of the finalized? Great. Let's see the finalized version of that Shigoki execution with the sound. Yes. Great. So I'll shut up. Let's check that out.
Exclusive.
So just walking in the park.
Yeah. So funny thing, VFX, the visual effects guys, for the previous Shigoki kill where he overhand smashes someone to the ground, was the first time that we put a massive, large, broken ground decal on the ground. And now, because we didn't have many that actually caused that kind of meteoric impact before. But now you could see each step that the Shigoki was taking underneath. There's like broken ground because now that they had the excuse to do it once. It's part of our tool set now. Now we can crush the ground some more and deal with that kind of weight. So it's constantly evolving. Same thing with the ledging, right?
And the one thing I didn't ask, but I wanted to, is how the community is always suggesting things, and they do it very creatively, whether it's a write-up, stick figure drawings, animated stick figures, and there's even one guy who does, like, I think it's an Unreal or something.
Yeah, he did an animatic. That was really cool.
He does animatic mock-ups of what he'd like to see.
Yeah, it's super interesting, by the way. We look at this and we're like, hey, why not? Oh my! I mean, if we could put this together, it's create discussion inside the process.
I keep a folder of everything, like Reddit, which camera am I on? Right. I keep a folder of every single of the stick figure drawings and everything like that on my desktop. It's amazing. I love them so much. And while we don't follow them 100%, what it is nice is that it shows where the community feels that we lack a certain kind of animation.
Yep.
This character didn't have didn't have a beheading, for example. You guys will notice that the Lawbringer, this is the first beheading, and it took us forever to do because at some point somebody made a comment, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. We don't have a beheading. We should. So yeah, and it's funny. Sometimes we've got things cooking that were filmed 4 or 5 months ago, and on Reddit somebody posts the stick figure drawing of which is really, really close to what we have, and I'm like, did somebody leak it, or is it just that we have brain sync or whatever? Yeah.
And another thing we didn't mention is there are gameplay considerations to be made too when you're concepting these, whether the length, right?
Of course, because we try to the finish skill is actually a tool set for the player. So we try to be sure that when we're actually providing the player some execution, we want to be sure that do they have a long one, short one, medium one, because like I said, we want to be sure that they're not trapped to, for this character there's only short, or worse, for this character there's only long one. So we want to be sure that actually every character is going to have the same average of finish skills tools.
Very cool. And I wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite execution that you've done that you're particularly proud of?
Oh my God. Well, I got, I want to say I love them both. Like,
They're all your
I love them
children.
all. They're all my children. And Roberts, of course, because without because no, honestly, like I gotta give him a shout out because he's my partner in crime in this. Like without him, there is no For Honor. He's amazing to work with, and we really developed like this great energy together. I don't know. I would say the Berserker finish skill where he hooks both blades on the neck and then forces the push and then the head pops up. I think it's one of my favorites. It's one of the first ones that we came up with. Nice. I really, really like that one just because of the rawness of the character, of who he is, and he shows that in that finish skill. He's also one of my favorite characters to act also. I call him the weasel on meth. It's like he's always that guy who's like, he wants to eat everybody, It's like...
Yeah, it was kind of funny because we have a new narrative director who came with us, and we had to explain to him, what was our game basically, who was the character, and I said, best way to do that is actually present them Max and Robert. These are the character. These are actually the spirit of those guys. So we booked 2 days of just talking about all the finish skill we done, and Max and Robert talking about how they feel about each and every character. And yeah, they all have kind of nicknames, and the weasel on Met is like, every single time we want to talk about him, it's like, yeah, imagine a weasel on Met. Yeah, that's this guy.
Yeah.
So
it helps us also with the acting, with the personality and creating all those characters, depending whatever the process is, whatever we that can help us develop those ideas for the characters, we go for it. So the weasel on meth was this thing that came to my head, and it made the character interesting. But the funny thing is that since we don't have facial capture, he's just this blank face. But there's all these movements. But if we sometime in the future, hopefully, if we can have like facial capture of him, like showing teeth and drooling, if we can at some point, that would be
would be excellent.
That would be
make it happen,
dope.
Guillaume.
Okay. or any of the characters, that's one of my favorite. But even the Armusha, he's the Ronin. He's the cool guy, in the woods drinking his tea alone, and then hears something and just. And, is going to disappear. He's one of a very cool character that I enjoy doing and acting as a sport.
For sure. And is there sort of, I've heard stories that like in the moment a lot of the times there are suggestions or improvisations that happen while you're doing mocap.
All the time. All the time. Basically, my job is say, guys, come down, come back, focus, please. No, guys, focus, please. And most of the time, it's like, guys, you really want me to lose my job? And it's every single time. No, Guillaume, please, we can do it. Please let. And at some point, it's like, okay, guys, we're gonna shoot it, and I just put it in garbage. It's like, yeah, we should.
Yeah, we never actually use those.
No, I know. The truth's coming out today.
Oh my God!
Now you're happy, and then we can move forward and keep on working.
Yeah. Well, thanks for indulging us.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
But I heard the Lawbringers pony thing was Robert's.
Are we allowed to talk about this?
I don't know. I'm not.
Well, the
I'm
emote
out.
is
Roman is
out
just shaking
there.
his head, going, "Oh my god!
Not
Don't bring up the
again."
pony."
The pony emote is out there. It's in the game. People love it.
Yeah,
especially with
few,
the flames.
Few people liked it. Few people liked it. Yeah.
Few people?
Yeah, few people.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Robert loved it.
Oh fuck yeah! I mean, it's just every single time he grabbed the axe and he's just like, every single time like, Robert, stop it, go back, Robert, focus, Robert. Okay, but we had some finish kill that we actually put that in at some point. He was just killing the guy. The guy was falling down, and it was just horse pony around him. It was like, yeah.
It was great.
It was awesome.
It was great.
But
I'm sure everybody would love it.
But at one point, we found that it was a bit off character. So that's why we decided. So yeah, you know what? It's funny. We have it, but it just doesn't fit with this character now. So
he's more of a bully, really. I mean, you see with his new execution, the kind of like
we see the Lawbringer as as the judge, jury, and executioner.
But at the same time, he's got this kind of like jock feel. If you were on the beach, he'd be the one kicking sand in your face, kind of thing. Like,
Are you speaking from experience? Has this happened
because
to you?
I've never been to a beach, man.
He's the bully of the '60s.
Yeah, exactly. He's like the platonic bully.
So just to mention, this is a tiny slice of what your team does, Guillaume.
Yes.
This is just a fraction. Obviously, there's the emotes. There's
the reworks.
The reworks. Yeah, that's a good point. Right. So
when
the
they
reworks.
change the timing of the attacks, we have to change the attacks.
Yes. Yes, that's right. So there's new animations that go into those reworks, actually. We didn't even talk about that earlier. And then, of course...
No, we have the game design guys who came and say, yeah, we have reworks to do every single time. Like, yeah, go ahead. What do you want? Yeah, we want to shave this and shave this and shave this. And at one point, it's like, there would be any animation left at the end. It's going to be a pose of somebody. It's like, yeah, but do you think you can do it? It's like, I hate to say it, but okay, we'll do it. But, I'm torn by the inside.
we have to beg for extra milliseconds.
Right.
Like we have to beg.
Basically, it's millisecond. We're talking about milliseconds.
Could I have 100 more milliseconds, please, sir? Just 100 more.
And thank God for the animators for real, because you know, if it was just for us, we'll go like, yeah, just do that, be free, be creative. We'll just create something. But since these guys are there, they make us look very good, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.
It's a hard job, actually.
Oh my God, I bet.
Wow.
We're so sorry.
Well,
so
on
sorry.
that note, I want to thank you all for joining. This was great. I hope people liked it.
Our
I know
pleasure.
they've been asking for this sort of stuff for a while. And obviously, if you have more questions about execution, send them my way, and I can direct it to these guys. But before we go, we wanted to roll the full video of all of the executions arriving next week on the 10th.
Yeah.
On the 10th. Yeah. So let's check those out right now.
Rah, rah.
Have fun.
So brutal. Well, it's me alone again, all alone up here. But that means our show is coming to an end. But before we go, actually today, because we do it every week, we have new content of the week that came out today. So let's show that now that we have the moment to do it. And let's roll that. It is new Elite outfits. They're available right now. You know, there's an old rule in show business, never follow executions with Elite outfits, but we did it anyway. But those are available now if you want them, and the executions come next week. I'm going to wrap things up just to encapsulate everything that you may have missed. Free Weekend is live now on all platforms across the world. You can play for free. Your friends can play for free, so invite your friends. If you help them out, if you play together with newcomers, 5 matches only is all it takes. As part of the Warrior training program, you will both be rewarded with 2 weeks of the new champion status. I don't think I said that before. Yeah, it's 2 weeks. It's not just a one-off. 2 weeks of the new champion status, which gives you a lot of extra XP at the end of match. And oh, look at that. We've even got the image. Look at you. Beautiful. Go to Reddit to group up with new players, as well as our Discord. So I think we even have a little lower third for the Reddit, but it's reddit.com. There it is. Beautiful. Thank you, Max. And the game is also actually on sale right now through the free weekend. Funny how that happens. So it's actually a really good time to pick up the game if you like what you're trying in the free weekend. It's up to 67% off, and actually more on different platforms. So depending on your platform of choice, you can get the game at quite a steal. Even the season pass I saw is on sale, which is pretty cool. So check that out. And season 6, as a reminder, is not this, but that. Season 6 hits on May 17th. Next week on the show, we'll do the patch notes, assuming we have them by then, for what's coming in season 6, the season 6 release that we haven't talked about on the show today. And we also are having our Orochi and PK reworks arrive in that patch. So May 17th is where you Orochis can dominate again. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It also comes with a new map called Beachhead. It's a Dominion map, but also Elimination Tribute. No, not Tribute. Elimination, Skirmish, Duel, and Brawl. Not Tribute. And I don't think Damien teased it enough. He said he was going to, but we do seasonal events. Maybe another one's going to happen in this season. Definitely another one's going to happen in this season. What a tease. The big news, as Stefan said, new heroes are coming this year. We have not turned our back on new heroes. We have some very exciting things in the works, and that's part of the reason that animation team is so busy. They're not just doing executions. Also, we will be at E3 next month with a lot of exciting stuff to show you. So get hype, because that is not very far away. And you are, I promise you, if you're a fan of For Honor, will be very excited about what we're showing at E3. So that's everything. I'm going to go take a nap for 5 days. And we will be back next week, because this is a weekly thing we do. It will be back in our room. Although, I don't think Ramon knows this, we have a new set. We have a new set in our live stream space, so you'll see us next week on a little fancier Warriors Den. So thank you so much to everybody who's joined us. If you are wondering about your Twitch drops, those are coming. We are intentionally not giving you the notification right now. It's a delay. You'll start to get them between tomorrow and the 7th. So don't freak out if you didn't get any notifications. That's by design because the processing time takes so long. We wanted to do it all in one batch. So you'll start to hear either tomorrow or by Monday for sure if you got your drops. All right. So thank you so much. We'll see you at Season 6 on May 17th, and we'll see you next week back here on the show. Thanks to everybody who came on, and see you next week.